All right. Welcome to Only Comics. I'm Mike. That's Adrian.
What's up, man?
What's up, bro?
Another beautiful day.
Another
or not.
beautiful day. Been raining like a motherfucker.
Yep.
It has been 7 days again, Adrian. Happens every week. And here we are. We're back. And we got a lot of shit to talk about today, Adrian. We got, there was a new DC show that debuted last week.
Yeah.
Lanterns. Believe it or not, DC does still exist.
Yes.
We were looking out. We're trying to find them.
Right.
They're there. So we'll talk about that later. I got some thoughts. I was in, we'll save those for later.
Sure.
We got some deep dives. You got a hidden gem later.
Yep.
I don't know who it is. I'm going to tell you that one of the characters I'm going to talk about today is on my motherfucking shirt. It's Magneto. Look what he's doing here, dude. Where is it? You see that? You see that right there? What's he doing? He's choking the shit out of Charles Xavier, okay? And we're going to talk about why this is a very important action right here. Talking about that later. But we got some news. We got some Doomsday news, as they say. And matter of fact, we're going to start with some Doomsday news, Adrian. So there's a fella in the MCU by the name of David Harbour, okay? He plays your favorite character, Adrian, Red Guardian. Which, at first, you were... how would you describe your first reaction to David Harbour's Red Guardian when you saw it?
I thought it was a joke. I'm like, who does that?
Right.
It's like the new Namor. You got some fat dude, out of shape, leftover super soldier serum kind of. It's like, is this a joke? Is this for real?
Right.
Like who would do that? But hey, he became popular.
And I will say, Adrian, you're a man of your word. You've said before you have the right to change your mind.
Yep.
Right. And I think when you first saw this character, you weren't too impressed.
Nope.
But after watching Thunderbolts, I think you kind of came around a little bit.
Not come around, but you got used to.
You got used to.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you gotta look at it for what it is. They're trying to go down this comedic route for all intents and purposes. And he fits in, and he's obviously not going away. So either I'm pissed off about it every time I see him, or you just get used to it.
So you accepted him for who he is.
Yep.
And he is going to be in Doomsday. We saw at the end of Thunderbolts, that little teaser trailer where, they see the Fantastic Four ship incoming. He's part of the new Avengers. And as you can imagine, David Harbour's doing some media, doing some press for this movie. He was interviewed by Variety magazine, not by us. We didn't get any call from him, but by Variety. And they asked him to offer up a line from Doomsday completely out of context. Now, I've been fighting the good fight online, Adrian. This whole Tony Stark Doom thing. Dude, I had a guy Friday. I think he may have deleted his TikTok. He got on the live, and we're having a good live, Adrian. We're having a good time. Everybody's laughing. Oh my God. And this motherfucker goes, well, okay, talk about what they're gonna say when they see it's Tony Stark, and I fucking lost it. Because I'm tired. I'm tired of people. Like, and you know me, if I'm wrong, I'll come back and say I'm wrong.
Sure.
But I can't understand. It's like driving on the highway. People drive like fucking idiots.
Right.
And I just can't understand how people are that stupid, but they're able to leave their house, go do whatever they're going to do that day, and make their way back home safely every day. I'm impressed, actually. Right. I'm impressed that people can't get past this Tony Stark, Victor Von Doom connection that's not there. Because that was my thing. Why the fuck would he look like Tony Stark? Well, I get that it's Robert Downey Jr., but Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr. are not the same person.
Well, nobody's saying, hey, Human Torch and Captain America, they're the same fucking person, right? Nobody's saying that shit.
Same shit. Now, I'm fighting the good fight to inform people, educate them that this is 99% not going to fucking happen. But David Harbour's fucking it up for me, dude. So the line that he gave that was completely out of context was, you are Tony Stark. Now, people, oh my God, look, he confirmed it. I know he did not confirm this. Here's what I think is happening here. You mentioned that this change of Red Guardian may have been for comedic reasons, right? So I could see there being a number of geniuses in this movie. Reed Richards, Victor Von Doom, Shuri. I mean, who knows? Is Ironheart going to pop back up? Is Peter Parker? There's so many genius level characters. So I could see him saying this to one of them, someone fucking around with some tech, and him just going, you are Tony Stark, because of Tony Stark's reputation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like if someone came in here with blonde hair and they were orange and doing this, I would say you are Trump, right? Like,
right.
Frankly, So I'm a little upset that he's going to feed into this rumor, but I think this is, like you've said a lot about these types of events. This is marketing.
Sure.
This is getting people. We're talking about it. I'm sure people going and fighting all about it. I'm like, look, he confirmed it. Is there any part of you that thinks that this line, this out of context line, is Red Guardian talking to Victor Von Doom after seeing his Tony Stark face?
Is this something that he supposedly said in the movie?
So allegedly, this is a line from the movie that's completely out of context.
Oh. Well, first and foremost, he could be lying.
There's that. Yeah, there's that.
Just to kind of tease the fact that the same actor is playing Doom now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, second thing is, it might not be in the movie. He could have just said that in jest during the filming.
Okay.
True. Because they do shit. And actually, a lot of stuff that makes it into the movie is ad lib, right? They'll ad lib something on the spot that's not even in the script,
right? And
they'll add it to a movie. He could have been just the fact that Robert Downey RDJ is playing Victor Von Doom. He could have just looked at him in jest during the filming and just said, "Hey, you are Tony Stark." Could have done that.
Sure.
So, it's not a confirmation that that's in the movie,
right?
That is, it was intentional or any of that bullshit.
Sure.
It's just something that he could have been saying. He just could have said. But knowing that RDJ is playing or has played both characters,
yeah,
he could just be lying.
Right.
I mean, just to say something for this fucking interview.
Could be that. Could also be, Doom wears a suit. He shoots things out of his hands at times, right? It could literally just be Alexei being, he plays a dumbass, right?
Sure.
Could just be him being stupid going, you are, and this could be Marvel's way of addressing it, right?
Sure.
Like, you are Tony Stark, and then he just turns it, no, I'm Doom. Like, what are you talking about? It could be something as subtle as that too.
Sure.
Or it could be him just trolling everybody.
Exactly.
But the thing that it is doing, it's keeping Doomsday in the news. Not that it needs any help. Do you know how many people I've come across in the last 2 or 3 weeks that are doing Doomsday rewatches now that I didn't even know they watch this type of shit?
Really?
It's like the Super Bowl, Adrian. You don't watch football, right? Yeah, I bet you watch Super Bowl just about every year.
Parts of it,
right? But if they say, "Hey, Adrian, I'm having a Super Bowl party,"
sure,
you show up.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of fans that don't, or a lot of people that don't give a fuck about football all year long.
Sure.
But Super Bowl time, let's go.
Right.
There's people that treat these Avengers movies just like that as well. They didn't give a shit when Thunderbolts came out last year or when the Marvels came out, whenever the fuck it did. But the new Avengers movie, oh shit, we got to watch all the movies. I've heard that, 4 or 5 times this past week.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's a good thing because comic shit is, not to say they're getting back on track. I don't think they've ever been off track, but it's getting to that point in this phase where you have the Super Bowl, you got the Avengers movies. But the closer we get to Avengers Doomsday, the closer we get to whatever comes after that. We know it's X-Men. We talked about the cast last week for these younger X-Men stars, which everybody seems to be, I shouldn't say everybody, the high percentage of fans that I've seen online seem to be very positive about this for a number of reasons.
Sure.
One, I think they're smart in who they're bringing in because these are actors that I look at people my kids' age. They know, my daughter knows who all these people are. Oh. These are the next up and coming.
Sure.
The Tom Hollands of this day, that type of shit. So I think they're picking these characters, these actors properly. And the other thing is, it's going to be here before we fucking know it.
Right.
Now, Indy Navarrete is the actress that they casted as Rogue. She's from the movie Obsession and a few other things. We know that she'll be an X-Men in May of 2028. There's a rumor this past week that dropped that said that, we might actually see Rogue a little bit sooner. We might see Rogue in Avengers Secret Wars in 2027. Does that sound, first of all, do you think that could happen? And do you think that should happen? Should we see some X-Men in this Secret Wars movie?
Could, yes. Should, no.
No, you don't think, you think we should wait till after Secret Wars?
It depends on what they're trying to do with Rogue. Now, Rogue, since X-Men 97, is becoming more popular.
Sure.
Because Rogue in the past was just another character
in the movies.
So she's becoming more popular, but I think, and also more pivotal.
Yeah.
And if they're preempting her in Secret Wars, then that means that she's going to be more pivotal, down the road, which is fine. Now, should she show up, or could she show up? Could, sure.
Yeah.
Should she? Not necessary.
Okay.
Unless, but again, it depends on her character down the way.
Yeah.
She could become, maybe she gets to the point where maybe they're trying to do this, the whole white people thing. Make her more popular than like a Storm.
Yeah.
Or make her more popular than like a Cyclops or whatever. Right? Because think about it. Deadpool wasn't really popular. Nobody really knew who Deadpool was until the fucking movie came out, right?
Sure.
So they choose who they want to prop up. Maybe this is one of those things.
I mean, it is smart. To your point, Rogue is, I think, a lot of people's top, or one of their favorite characters from X-Men 97.
Right.
It's a character they have done a great job with. What we talked about last week and all the ups and downs of that show. But I think that was a character from the beginning, from the first episode, from the first season, the stuff with Cap, the stuff with Gambit, Magneto. They gave her a good run on that show. So it would make sense to, hey, if we're gonna start incorporating X-Men, might as well pick one of the ones that's a little more popular right now. And kind of riding this girl's popularity, this girl, Indy Navarrete, who she's all over social media.
I've literally never heard of her.
You've never heard of her. Did you watch the show Superman and Lois? It was part of the Arrowverse.
Yeah.
I just found this out literally last night. She was in that show. She played Sarah Cortez, a Smallville resident.
Okay, she looks familiar, vaguely familiar.
Okay. And that would have been, a few years ago.
Right.
But she was in this movie, Obsession, which is blown the fuck. It was a it's like an indie movie, low budget movie. And this thing killed it at the box office, dude.
What's the name of it?
Obsession. It's a kind of newer, I haven't watched it yet. It's on, I think, Peacock maybe. It's like a newer take on a horror movie. Basically, this kid gets a wish, and he wishes.
I think I saw a commercial or something for.
I'm sure you have, dude. He basically wishes that she loves him more than anyone on the
planet.
Right. Which it backfires, to say the least. And dude, she plays the chick that goes crazy, and she does a fucking great job at it. So,
how do you know, Mike?
I've seen clips.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I ain't making shit up, bro. That's one thing about, if you join us for the first time, you will get no bullshit. You will hear this probably 4 times today from me. Nope, never seen that. Nope, Adrian never saw that one. We don't pretend, but I have seen clips of, like too many clips, honestly, of this movie on TikTok, because I just want to watch it. But and now Secret Wars, though, is a story where you can bring anybody into this motherfucker. You almost don't even need an explanation, because you're like, well, these are the newer X-Men that's going to be taking over after Secret Wars. Why would they show up here? Because it's Secret Wars.
And also, it's a perfect. So whoever came up with the idea of Secret Wars and Infinite Crisis on the DC side, for that unnamed.
What's that? DC?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's like Burger King. What? Infinite Crisis and Secret Wars is like the perfect opportunity for a lot of things. Right? You can introduce new actors. You can fade out old actors. Right? Because you can have, Hugh Jackman's 616 Wolverine die out and bring in another one from 843 or whatever.
Sure.
You can resurrect people. T'Challa.
Yes.
T'Challa, motherfuckers. You can resurrect people by bringing them over from another universe, right? But the biggest thing I think is like, the introduction of younger actors and fading out the old ones.
Yeah.
This is a perfect opportunity to do all of that kind of stuff.
Right.
So,
and you can do that in a way where you don't, I'll say you don't delete what came before.
Correct.
Right? Because it's not a reset. It's not even really a reboot in a lot of ways. I don't even know what you would call it, but there will be some changes to the MCU, but they're not going to stop one story, start another.
Correct.
I don't know if this is, still where they're at, but one of the things that Kevin Feige and the Russo brothers confirmed early on was post Secret Wars, there will be one timeline. We're not going to have, multiverse, fucking universes all over. There's going to be one. And in that timeline, the Avengers, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four will all be in the same universe. It makes shit the way it's supposed to be, right?
Correct.
Stuff that, as comic fans, we've been waiting for a very long time.
Right.
I mean, it's awesome that we have between the Fox movies, the Spider-Man, the MCU, probably 50 fucking movies of different comic characters that are all pretty much the same, a couple different universes. It's cool, but it's going to be a breath of fresh air, a positive change when we now have one universe with all these motherfuckers, which is like the comics we grew up on.
Right. And it's interesting that it aligns with all these licensing deals that's happening in the background.
Right.
You know?
That's the problem. Is it's a business, right? Like the reason it's been so scattered is Marvel was going out at legit. Marvel was about to file bankruptcy in the late 90s.
Right.
Then they sold off all these character rights because they're looking at these studios. They want to make movies. They sell off Spider-Man to Sony. They sell off Hulk to Universal and X-Men, all their popular characters. Then they're left over with these fucking bum-ass Avengers, What we do with this shit? But to your point, now they got everybody back.
Right.
And I think it's going to be, if done right, a good fucking time. And we're so focused on Doomsday right now. I think a lot of people don't realize is that's not the Super Bowl.
Right.
Secret Wars is, right? Doomsday is the Infinity War.
Right.
Endgame is what Secret Wars will be. So we got a whole nother level of shit. So it's this I'm down with. I'd love to see some of these X-Men introduced now. Why not? If you're going to get a movie with them the next year, might as well trickle them in somewhere.
Right. So imagine if Sony would have, kept the Spider-Man, ball sack in their mouth, right?
Yes.
We wouldn't have the stuff that we have now because clearly Sony can't make a Spider-Man movie.
No, not without Marvel's help.
So, luckily, we got that. So now, the Hulk is coming in. Now we got Hulk and Spidey in the same, which were in two different studios, right?
Yep.
So now all this stuff is going to cultivate, and like you said, I mean, we're going to have the family back together.
There you go. It's a good way to put it. No more 2 Christmases. Everybody's back. So DC, we've already talked about, less than 20 minutes in, we've already talked about DC more than we have in probably the last 6 months.
Right.
I could be exaggerating a little bit. One thing, you will get slight exaggerations here. Is that fair?
Sure.
But you will get the truth, Adrian. And if you're looking to be entertained, infotained, whatever the fuck, or offended.
Well, you'll get the truth as we currently understand it.
True.
That you also must fact check.
Absolutely.
And then we have the right to change our mind about whatever we spoke about in the past.
Sure.
At any point in the future.
Yep.
Just saying.
In the past could be 5 minutes ago, So if you like what you just heard there, we got you covered, Adrian. It's like the blanket. We got you covered. Now, DC, the DCU, it's another universe. They're dude, if the MCU is like at the college age right now, the DCU, they're still shitting in diapers. They're shitting up their back right now. Adrian.
Well, they still running down somebody's back or something. I don't know what they doing.
Right. But they did start a show. It took over that Sunday night slot that for years, back in the day, it was The Sopranos, The Wire, Game of Thrones was a Sunday night slot, the fucking House of Dragon, all this, but Your Mother's Dragon, all kinds of shit. But Lanterns took over that spot last week, Adrian. They debuted with some pretty good viewership numbers. 9.3 million views in the first 3 days. That's the biggest launch for a DC studio show, but that's not saying how many fucking shows did they have, right?
Wait a minute. So I don't know what that means.
I'm about to tell you.
Okay. So we got a baseline.
We got a baseline. Okay, cool, so we know DC, because I didn't know what it fucking meant either. I looked it up. People are like, oh, how you know all this stuff? I don't. I fucking looked it up. Like, I promise you, like, don't ever give us credit for this. These guys are experts. No. But what we will do is, if we want to figure something out, Adrian, we'll take an hour or two and fucking research it. And
right, we are an expert researcher.
There you go.
We know how to type, motherfucker.
There you go. Talk to AI. Somebody was like, it sounds like he used AI to help with this. Like, yeah, I did, bitch. You got a fucking problem with that? Fuck. Oh yeah, and that's other people like, yeah, who cares? The one dude was like, I care. Like, well, good, then go watch somebody else's shit, dude.
We reached into a pocket universe of knowledge.
There you go.
And pulled all the answers out.
It's called the blanket dimension. So, Lanterns, 9.3 million first 3 days. All right, let me give you some context here. So, I'm going to give you just HBO Max shows right now that are considered top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's all relative too, because streaming has only been a thing for less than 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not counting things like The Wire, Sopranos, all these big cable shows or whatever.
Right.
Peacemaker season 2 got 700,000 views in the first 4 days.
That's it?
That's it. Oh yeah, Peacemaker. But now that season pretty much bombed.
Right.
The Penguin, we love this show here when it came out, right? This one did pretty well. First 4 days, 5.3 million views.
I'm surprised at that, dude.
You think that's high or low for the Penguin?
Low.
Okay.
But this is the first few days, right?
Yeah, this first 4 days.
All right, that makes sense. Because people really don't know. Because Penguin is like, who the fuck is the Penguin?
Right.
You know.
Yeah, and word of mouth.
Now later on in the season, I'm sure those numbers are like vastly different.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
100%. But yeah, these are
first
their
few days.
Top for the first few days. Welcome to Derry. You seen this show?
No, dude. I'm so tired of seeing variations of it.
Yeah,
it's like fucking zombie movies at this point.
Yeah, I have no interest in this.
Now, have you seen that rap song about Derry?
No,
dude, that shit is
really.
Oh, it's nice.
Okay. I did not see that. This show, though, a lot of people like it, right? Oh my God, the clown, the red balloon, Adrian, and everything floats. Oh my God. 5.7 million views in the first 3 days. So Lanterns beat all of those shows with 9.3 global views first 3 days. Now
that's a lot.
It's a lot,
that's
right?
By a lot,
especially for a show called Lanterns,
right?
You know, like I know there are some people that really like the Lanterns, Green Lanterns and shit, but for the most part, if you're asking people about DC, they're talking about Batman, Superman, fucking, Wonder Woman,
right?
Even Flash.
But it also speaks to like, we don't have comic book saturation,
no,
right? And it's also surprising. It's kind of like the story that you was telling like last week, how one of the comments was about a guy who's a subscriber, works with somebody else.
Yeah. Didn't
even know that they, watched us and shit.
Right.
The grumpy Adrian fucking guy.
Yeah,
right?
This is grumpy Adrian, everyone.
So I'm just surprised like how far reaching these things are, is my point.
Now, the number 2 show on HBO Max in the first few days was The Last of Us, season 1, not fucking season 2.
Ugh.
But that season 1 reached about 10 million viewers over the first couple days. And then House of Dragon, the Game of Thrones, what's that, a prequel maybe? Season 3 of that show debuted with 21.5 million views in the first 3 days. So
I think a lot of that is from Game of Thrones.
Oh, I'm sure.
Just spill over from Game of Thrones.
Yep.
But yeah, man, season 3 already?
Yep, season 3 already. So Lanterns, impressive. And now if we look at some other platforms like Disney Plus, Loki, season 1 debuted with 10.9 million views in the first 3 days. So pretty close to Lanterns, 9.3. And Disney was very satisfied with that viewership. And then Stranger Things season 4 this is a Netflix debut. Now this is Stranger Things, a whole different animal, right? Somewhere between 30 to 50 million views in the first 3 to 4 days.
Damn.
And then Fallout on Prime. You ever watch this show, Fallout?
Is this the one about some underground bunker or something?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it.
I watched a little bit of it because I played this based off a video game series.
Okay.
I played a few of the games, which those were fun. This thing pulled in 65 million views. That's first 2 weeks, so I don't know why. That's first 2 weeks. That don't count. Why the fuck is that in here? Who did that? Whatever intern did that's fired, Adrian. Right. So Lanterns, pretty impressive viewership. Yeah. Are you surprised by that?
I mean, but what's the baseline though?
Well, I mean, these are the top of the top right here.
I mean, I'm assuming so. If the fuck, what's the list? Down. Peacemaker.
Yep.
So if Peacemaker got 700,000 views, right? I'm assuming that's good.
No, that's not.
It's not?
No.
Okay, so what's the baseline then?
I don't know what the baseline is, but I know that Lanterns is number 3 on the list of biggest debuts.
Sure. So, I mean, is Penguin at 5.3 good?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so let's assume that the baseline, let's say the baseline is 3 million. Okay. Somewhere around there, and Peacemaker didn't make the cut. Mm-hmm. So this is exceptionally well. So I'm surprised by the numbers, is what I'm saying.
Like, I didn't think this show had that much hype around it to where people. So part of it is still this, I guess, old school. Hey, the 9 o'clock slot on HBO is still a big fucking deal,
right?
Because I bet some of the audience is probably just, oh, it's a Sunday night show, must be good. Because HBO does have a track record for having their prime series dropping on Sunday night, and for the most part, HBO's got some good shows in their, catalog.
Right.
Going back to, remember, Oz. The Wire, Sopranos. I mean, people used to love Sex in the City, all this shit. There's the vampire show, the show about the people who have the funeral home. I don't even know fucking half of these shows, but I know that.
That was a good show.
It was a good show, right?
Yeah.
Well, I forget the fucking name.
Yep.
But they have a history, a track record of putting out a quality show Sunday nights. And then we'll talk about how we feel about the show a little bit later, because I'm not going to say it now. I'm going to save it.
Well, I was a little pissed around the show.
Okay.
Because I'm looking for it on Disney, number 1. Right? I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I'm looking through all my channels and shit. I'm like, what the fuck?
You're so Marvel heavy, you thought DC show was on Disney.
Hey, why not, right? So I'm flipping through Netflix. I'm flipping through fucking Prime. I'm like, where the fuck is the show? Yep. I look it up, fucking HBO. So now I got to resubscribe to HBO. And I canceled HBO after Game of Thrones ended.
Damn.
So it's been going for a while, dude. Yep. I'm like, another $10, Mike.
You know what, though?
They got me, man.
They got you, but that's not the only show DC is going to throw on HBO Max. There's another show that's in the works. Now, comics are entertaining on many levels, right? Yep. They can be dramatic. They can be adult. Yep. They can be family friendly. Would you say that comics can even be comedies?
Well, that shit show over She-Hulk tried, right?
Okay. Well, DCU is going to try their hand at a comedy. It's called The People vs. Gorilla Grodd, a comedy TV series that's just been announced by DC Studios.
Okay.
So before I say anything else, what's your initial thoughts on just that title there, The People vs. Gorilla Grodd as a comedy?
I just have fucking She-Hulk be his attorney. I don't know.
Okay, so this show is going to star Skylar Gisondo as Jimmy Olsen from the Superman movie. So Jimmy Olsen's in here. Gorilla Grodd is in this show. Steve Lombard from, I don't even know who the fuck that is. Cat Grant's back in this. Perry White. So it seems like the Daily Globe is going to play a big role in this show. And what they said about it so far, and now this is the EVP of HBO program. It says they love the series. Okay.
Is Perry White in this white again?
No, it's the same one from Superman, black dude.
Oh,
I forget the actor's name. I can literally see his face. But so it's going to spotlight Jimmy and Jimmy Olsen and the rest of these Daily Globe staff, and they're going to be showcasing the criminal justice system for Metropolis. But it's a comedy.
Daily Globe or Daily Planet?
Yeah, which one is that? Daily Planet, right?
Oh.
Yeah, hey, scratch all that. It's fucking Daily Planet. All these damn fake news casting company. I don't fucking know. But HBO seems to be pretty high on this. And they say that Jimmy Tatro, who's playing Gorilla Grodd, is hilarious. Now, is Gorilla Grodd a character that is funny in the comics?
No, he's a maniacal.
I thought so.
He's like Lex Luthor.
Okay. But he is a talking gorilla.
Yes.
So I guess
with telepathic powers.
Okay. So I could see how they could make that funny.
Okay.
So it sounds. So after hearing that, Adrian, comedy, the Daily Planet involved, Jimmy Olsen being the same one from Superman being a main character, and a funny Gorilla Grodd. How interested are you in this?
So the question that you always ask is, who asked for this?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, who did?
We just have to see, dude.
Yep.
I mean, we didn't think Penguin was going to do what it did, right?
No, but it's a good comparison because we did see Penguin before that.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the Batman movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I think once we heard that they were doing a series about him based on what we saw in the Penguin, I was like, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Based on what we've seen with Jimmy Olsen, I think it was a good Jimmy Olsen.
Sure.
But nothing about that character wants me to see him star in something.
I mean, exactly. So like Jimmy Olsen, like really?
Right.
Like anybody can play Jimmy Olsen. He's not one of those characters that needs a specific person. As long as he's like, I mean, they're getting away from the red-headed freckles and shit.
Yeah.
But anybody can play that character. And because of that, like, who cares?
Sure. Now, another piece of info about this show is Gorilla Grodd is going to be on trial in this show for the alleged crime of killing his father and consuming his brain. So, yeah. Does that sound like something Gorilla Grodd would do?
I don't know what gorillas eat. So
okay, but I mean, you think he'd kill his own father? You say he's maniacal.
I don't know. Probably. If he thought, I'm assuming if he thought there was a purpose in it.
Okay. So it's not out of the realm of possibility.
But to me, this is like I just saw briefly a commercial. I don't know if you ever watched the show Reacher, right?
No, but I know what you're talking about. We're not talking about reaching around the blankets.
No, not it's Reacher, not reach around.
Okay.
So Reacher.
Got it.
The show, they spun off a show about his sometime sidekick. There's this black woman that helps him on occasion. And it seems like they are spinning off a show for her or about her. Mm-hmm. I'm like, who asked for that?
Right.
Right. So it's like one of these things. Instead of putting time into, but you never know. And I say this like, who asked for that? But you just never know. Who asked for a Penguin show?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But it turned out to be good.
Right.
Who asked for fucking Sopranos? Who asked for The Wire? Who asked for any of this shit? So you never know. But and they really take a chance on, just throwing the drawers up on the wall and see what sticks. But then they cancel shit that's good.
Right.
Right. What was the show that they're not going to do another Wonder Man?
Yeah.
They're not going to do another season of that.
Right.
They're not going to do another season of the Penguin. Why? You introduce this stuff and then you cancel it.
Right.
But then you bring in this nonsense that nobody cares about. Who cares about Jimmy Olsen? Right.
I don't know. We're going to fucking find out, though. And this one is, I'm not going to say I think it's going to be bad. I'm not going to, because there is some intrigue to this. It sounds different, which I like. I don't know much about Gorilla Grodd. I think, did you do a hidden gem on him a long time ago?
I don't remember.
Possibly. I remember, or at least you told me some shit about him here. I don't know if it's a hidden gem or you just were like, hey, let's
probably because I remember talking about him because he's a Flash villain.
Right.
So I probably did. Gorilla Grodd, Gorilla City, the telepath, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
The telepathy.
So the telepathy. Telepathetic. Does that mean that, this could lead to Flash? Possibly, maybe. I don't know. I want to give them a chance because the more comic stuff that we have to watch, a lot of times the better. And if it's good, it's good for everybody because there's some competition here.
Sure.
But it does sound a little wacky.
Yeah, it sounds a little wacky, but so you're gonna give Ezra Miller another chance?
No, absolutely not. Nope. Speaking of DC, dude, we got half the news is DC, Adrian. This is crazy. Wow. Yes. The Batman 2. This is not a big piece of news. This is a small one.
Hey, broke clock twice is right twice a day, right?
I guess. Fucking 4 times today somehow. I don't know how that's working out, but we know that the Batman 2 got moved back to like fucking 2052 or some shit. I don't know. Our fucking grandkids will watch it for us because we'll be blind in a nursing home.
Right.
But anyways, Sebastian Stan's going to be in this. And this past week, some journalists confirmed that he's playing Harvey Dent. Now, initially when he was casted, we were told he was playing Harvey Dent through the rumor mill. Mm-hmm. Then they came out and said, no, this fat black dude's playing Harvey Dent. Remember that?
Right.
Like, all right, dude, I know this guy's a good actor, but like, why is he, I think he was a dude from Eternals or something.
Right.
Why is that guy playing
I've
Harvey?
literally never seen him before or after that.
Yeah. Like, I don't get why you would put him in that role.
Right.
Put him in a role, but whatever. Crazier things have happened in movies.
Crazier things have happened.
But then this journalist, Stephanie Belpeche, she posted something on Twitter confirming that Sebastian Stan is playing Harvey Dent. So it was like somebody else's post that said, you know, he's playing so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And Stephanie replied to that and said that, yeah, that's what he told us at the Cannes Film Festival. And then she deleted this after it went viral. So I'm wondering two things. And either one could be. I don't know how we're not gonna be able to figure this out. Did she?
Is it Kane or Khan?
Cons? You know, it's one or the other.
It's like you look at Colonel. There's not a fucking R in it.
You know,
right?
Stupid fucking English language. Colonial. I mean, up north of us, Worcester, Mass.
Right.
Try to spell that shit.
Right.
Worcester. The fuck is it? What crackhead came up with the way to spell this shit? So to your point, Canes, I don't know, some stupid fucking film festival. But the point is, she says this for one of two reasons. She could have said that, you know, or she could have done this because she's trying to stir people up, right? Like, let me just put this out there. She could have done this because she just has loose lips. Maybe he really did tell her and she fucking confirmed it and then was like, oh shit, I probably shouldn't, and deleted it. Or she could just be stupid.
All right.
It could be one of the three, right? So I saw it earlier in the week and everybody's going crazy when it was confirmed. But now her deleting it, I think, means that it hasn't been confirmed. Also, Sebastian Stan was seen bald recently, which would indicate that he's not playing Harvey Dent. It would indicate that the rumor of him playing Victor Zsasz is probably more accurate. So remains to be seen. We got 32 years until that movie comes out. So, you know, a lot to talk about.
Or maybe he shaved his head to throw us off. Kind of like, you know, when someone asks you a question, you just lie.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like that.
Right. I was not there last night. Yeah.
It wasn't me.
Right. Bro, we saw you. Speaking of Wonder Man, Adrian, back on the Marvel train real quick. I got some information for you because I'm torn on the cancellation of this show. I really like the show, right? You like the show? Or was
it was okay.
It was okay. And the character Wonder Man, I don't think needs a show. I don't think you need Wonder Man, to be honest.
Right.
He's a character that, whether he's there or not, there's other characters that can serve a similar role.
Sure.
He's never been the lead, you know, in at least the big Marvel events and stuff that I've been into. Now, viewership, this is the part that people tend to forget sometimes. It's a business.
Sure.
Regardless of how much you and I like the show or how much the actors like the show or even how much Marvel like their own show, if nobody watches the motherfucker,
right,
it's a waste of money, right? I mean, how many times have there been a movie that gets a sequel just because it did well at the box office, even though the movie wasn't that great? I mean, there's 10 Fast and Furious movies.
Right.
They're all not good, dude.
Yep.
There's a handful that are good, but they make motherfucking millions.
Right.
So Wonder Man was a show. I liked it. Rotten Tomatoes even liked it. 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. But it was canceled. The season 2, this is one where season 2 was confirmed and then canceled. Right. Not like we just did one season, one off. This was confirmed, then canceled. My man was even up for I think a Emmy for this, or I think he still is. I don't know when the Emmys are. But this podcaster Jeff Snyder here, and honestly, a lot of his leaks tend to be fucking stupid and not accurate. But he says that Wonder Man was by far Marvel's least viewed live action TV series, and it was a drop off week by week. So like you talked about one of the shows we were mentioning, I think Penguin, and you're talking about like, I wonder how the viewership went up over the weeks.
Right.
Well, this show did the fucking opposite. So it had a low budget, which is good, right? But the drop off from the finale, from the first episode to the finale, was over 48% viewership.
Damn.
Yes. So that means only 52% of the viewers who started the show actually made it to the finale. And they say that Disney Plus allegedly needs a retention rate of 53% or higher to be considered safe from cancellation. So it sounds like this thing was right at that level of like, so it didn't hit the numbers.
Sure.
So when I hear that,
makes sense.
It makes sense, right? And I think a lot, and we even talked about this thing. I see patterns and shit.
Mm-hmm.
This show was canceled, and then they announced that Blade was canceled the same week.
Mm-hmm.
So you go, wait a minute, they canceled all Black people projects?
Yep.
Now, can't speak to the Blade stuff, but take out the race of the character. If the show only, 48% of the fucking people dropped off from beginning to end, regardless of what the show is about, we probably shouldn't make another fucking season.
Right. Well, first of all, they race swapped him.
They did. Yep.
Secondly, because they race swapped him, I'm assuming they changed his origin.
Yeah.
Right. Simon Williams was a superhero that became a stunt guy,
right,
as a cover. He wasn't an actor that became had his powers all along.
Right.
So they completely, the people, the 52%, I mean, the people that started watching him were probably, you had to be diehard Marvel fans or comic book fans just to even know who he was.
Correct.
Right. And then they changed literally everything about him.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, this is not even the Wonder Man that I'm familiar with.
Yeah, not even close.
And then they changed everything, all the expectations about him.
Mm-hmm.
So the viewership dropped off.
Yeah.
So now, if they had not race swapped him, that probably meant he would have been more true to the character, right?
Mm-hmm.
How he came about and his powers, and the viewership probably would have sustained this chopping of the seasons and shit.
Yeah.
So it's their fault.
What do you think about the fact that it wasn't your traditional superhero show? Like, we didn't see any costumes, powers, or anything for most of the show.
Right.
It was a drama about Hollywood in a lot of ways, which I'll be honest, I enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
For me, but this is a show that if it wasn't a comic book show, I would have enjoyed it exactly the same amount.
Sure.
I did not feel that it was a comic book show.
Mm.
It didn't feel like a superhero show to me at all.
Well, that's part of the problem, I think.
You think that's a problem? That's my question. Like, is it like, does it need to feel like a superhero show? It should, right?
It should. It should have had elements, further into the show.
Yeah.
Especially like the last 2 or 3 shows is when his powers start being revealed.
Right.
Right. And then you had this explosion at the end, with him flying and everything. I think people went into it with a certain. I think the show started marginally, with all the changes that they made, and it just dropped off from there, organically,
right?
Because it's just not interesting enough to sustain people who came in thinking they was going to get one thing and got something else.
Sure, and I could say the same exact thing about Spider Noir.
Sure,
I went into that expecting this character was entertaining in the Spider-Verse movies.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like we're getting, at least visually, a true adaptation.
Mm.
But then you watch it, and for me, after the second episode, I'm like, I can't get. This is not fun. This is
right.
The voice annoys me. The way he acts, it's too over the top.
Right.
And it was too slow for me, to be honest. And then I'm like, why am I watching this? Why do I care? Why do I care about Spider Noir?
Right.
Why? And I think people probably felt that way here. Why do I care about Wonder Man? He ain't connected to shit. Nope. He's just this guy in Hollywood, fucking having trouble being an actor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's that have to do with, like, we got this big story here. Mm-hmm. We got the multiverse, Doom, all this shit, and we got this motherfucker arguing with people on the set of a show. Right. Again, I'm not changing my opinion. I did like it, but I get why a lot of people, the usual MCU audience, was not interested.
Sure.
So after reading, if these numbers are accurate, then I can't blame them for canceling this. Mm-hmm. If half the fucking people go out the window, why the fuck are we going to keep putting the show out?
But as an aside, this actor, I think he's a good actor, but I think it's almost like somebody's trying to sabotage his career or some shit, because they put him out in Man on Fire, the Denzel Washington replacement.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't like the show, dude. They gave him like the early 1970s female superhero character thing, where they made him He's a talented, ex-military person, but of course, he'll have these moments where he goes into this, like, he shuts down and he becomes immobile. He can't move, and luckily nobody's like actively shoot. Well, even in a situation where he's in trouble, he's balled up in a curl on the floor, having some kind of panic attack or some shit. It's like, it just doesn't fit, man.
Yeah,
it just doesn't fit.
I will say, I think he's a great actor.
Yeah,
I thought he did a great job in that show. But it kind of goes hand in hand with that whole Gorilla Grodd show. Like, it's risky. Not that you need to just cookie cutter make what everybody wants to see, but you should lean on the proven fucking characters, entities. Like, the shit that worked in the comics will probably work on screen.
Right.
We don't need to change that much. And that was, if you were, like, I wasn't a diehard Wonder Man fan, but I'm sure there are people that are.
Sure.
I would love to hear what they think of that show. I bet it was almost jarring to see that version because, like you said, it's the complete opposite.
Right.
It's like you make fucking Superman, instead of Krypton, he's from the moon. And he's fucking Japanese or something,
right?
Like, he's a sumo wrestler. Like, you just change everything about him. Kryptonite makes him more powerful. And he wears a Batman suit. Like, it's literally like that different. Like, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not saying don't be risky. You have to take risks in that business, right? Introduce them on streaming like they have been doing. Test the waters. It's a new character, or relatively a hidden gem per se, right?
Wow.
Test the hidden gems out on streaming and see how they do.
Yeah.
Right. And then, but stay true to the character.
Right.
Give people what they have known for the last 50 years.
Yeah.
Right. And then if they are worthy of a promotion, then put them on a big screen.
Right.
Don't just make some movie about, Clayface. Right. I'm not saying it's not going to be good.
I think it's going to be good, but it's also, I don't think it's going to do amazing at the box office.
Right.
Because, like, it's Clayface.
Right. Or Swamp Thing. Or, these are people know.
Right.
They've heard the name, but they don't know the character.
Correct.
Introduce them on streaming.
Yep.
100%.
Well, that wraps up our news segment. I want to shout out all the interns out there. We have a whole nother podcast here, Adrian, called Other Stuff, which you can get for, you can join the internship. We have the only internship where you pay to be a part of. But I think it's well worth it. $4.99 a month. You get a whole nother podcast where we talk about comics, but we also talk about some conspiracy type stuff, which we're going to talk about population control on that this week. And we're talking about Thanos there, by the way. But before we do that, that's later. That's like fucking, a couple of days from now. Today on this podcast, we're going to talk about a character who was very prominent in X-Men 97. A character who we have seen on screen. And I think they've done a pretty good job on screen. But when I talk about who this character is in the comics, I think people may rethink that statement that this character was done justice. Okay, so the guy we're talking about today, Adrian, is Magneto, motherfucking Magneto.
Do this on your shirt, choking Chuck.
There you go, choking his Chuck, Adrian. But first, I'm gonna tell you who
come to me, my Chuck.
To me, my Chuck. You think he says to me, my blanket? But Magneto. So I'm going to tell you who he is not, because if you've only seen him in the movies, you're probably thinking, oh, I know Magneto. Oh my God, he's the guy, he controls metal, Adrian. He's like a big magnet. He wears purple and a helmet. He's an old man. He's not just a guy who controls metal. He's not Xavier's boyfriend. He's definitely not that. He is not some old, frail man in a purple fucking helmet. No disrespect to Ian McKellen. I love his portrayal. But Magneto is a motherfucking savage. And I think he's a much better leader than his boy here, Charles Xavier. Yeah. Right? So let's go back to the beginning, the origin. Hold on, I'm going to pause the deep dive real quick, because his origin, I think, makes it complicated to adapt him into live action now. Okay? Because his origin is a Holocaust survivor. Well, the Holocaust, at this point, if if the character Magneto was real, he'd be what, about 100 years old.
Right.
Now I know mutants could age slower, all that stuff, but I feel like we're getting to the point where his origin may make it hard to adapt a true to comic Magneto.
Sure.
And then you have a few options, right? What could you do? You could make him, you could change when the Holocaust was in your story if you wanted to do something crazy.
Hey, you don't want to piss off them people.
I know. Yeah, so that's probably off the table. That's probably off the table. You could make him not necessarily a Holocaust survivor, but a descendant of somebody who was.
Could do that.
Probably doesn't have the same impact though.
Mm-hmm.
You could, I'm just saying, you could race swap. You could, put him into a different class of people that were treated poorly, that were genocide was you could put him in a different oppressed group.
Well, you could give him the Tony Stark treatment because the original Iron Man was in Vietnam.
Right.
So this Iron Man, they put him in an Afghan war.
Yeah.
Right? Something like that.
Right.
So you could do that.
Do something like that.
Right.
Now, doing that, if Magneto's not Jewish, could you do a Magneto, do him justice if he wasn't Jewish?
Sure.
You could.
There's plenty of trauma events.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So you have several options. Or you could just fucking keep it as is and don't even explain shit and call it a day. Right.
There's that.
I don't know. But the comic origin. So all right, we're back on track here. I just had to go off on a rant. You know how we do it here.
Sure.
So the origin of Magneto. Magneto was born Max Eisenhardt to a middle-class Jewish family in Germany in the 1920s. And we know what happened back in Germany in the 1920s. The Nazi regime, they rose to power, and Max's entire family was executed. Max survived only to be sent to Auschwitz concentration camp. He was forced to work, I'm going to fuck this name up, a Sonderkommando. No, I got it pretty right. Which is a prisoner forced to dispose of bodies of victims from the gas chambers. So, again, X-Men character, a mutant, traumatic beginning, right?
Wait a minute. So his entire family is captured.
Mm-hmm.
His parents are killed. He's a prisoner.
Yep.
His job is to dispose of his dead people.
Yes. The gas, specifically the gas chamber victims, because, there are all kinds of, yes. So during his time in these camps, dude, these mutant abilities began to manifest, but not fully. We're going to talk about how powerful he really is, but in the beginning, it was small things like he would subconsciously be able to bend metal tools, manipulate magnetic fields slightly, but he didn't understand what was happening to him yet.
Mm-hmm.
Then he witnessed something that was pretty motherfucking dramatic. Actually, we're going to get to that. Witnessing or being in the concentration camp was him witnessing some of the worst fucking acts of humanity. Right? And that destroyed his faith in mankind. He did survive the camp, and he survived along a Romani woman named Magda. They escaped concentration camp together. But he walked away a different person, okay? Mm-hmm. I mean, think about what he lived through, to your point. So they decide to try to start a normal life. He changes his name. He starts using the name Magnus. And they ended up having a daughter together, Anya. One day, he's working a regular job. This is a lot like the X-Men Apocalypse movie, where he's off in the woods, and in the comics he was in the Soviet Union. So he's working construction. Young daughter, trying to take care of his family, just being a model citizen. And of course, the boss cheated Max out of his pay, right? Because that's what bosses do.
Sure.
And Max was pissed. So he snaps and he uses his powers to launch a fucking crowbar. Terrified the boss. What does the boss do? Reports Max to the KGB. Fucking stand-up guy, right?
Yeah.
So that night, Adrian, we've heard about these people before. The angry mob, the pitchfork mob. These bitch-ass motherfuckers, all these locals, they're anti-mutant. Oh my God, he threw the crowbar. Oh, we're gonna get him. Get your pitchforks, get your fucking tiki torches. And they surrounded Max's house. and they set that motherfucker on fire.
Wow.
Anya, his daughter, was trapped inside.
I was going to say it brings a whole new meaning to fuck them kids. It's like how do you not have a conscience about killing women and children?
Yep.
It just boggles my mind how you just strip that part of you just all humanity just stripped out of you
because they're different,
right?
And that's why I love a lot of Stan Lee creations and why the X-Men are just such an awesome concept and idea, and you got to give this man credit for having the balls to put something out like this because that's not just made up shit. That's speaking to many of oppressed groups to where it don't. You get racist white people look at black people that way. You get the Germans in these days looked at the Jews that way. Like shit that's going on now in Palestine. They don't care that it's a kid, Adrian. It's you're not this kid. You're that type of kid. Right. You know,
especially you talk about him, creating these characters and and specifically, narrating these subjects. Also, at the time that these characters came out,
this is in the 60s, dude. Yeah,
all the racial divide, all the social level divide, all the country divides, all that stuff, and all this stuff has been. So it took some balls to put this stuff out.
Absolutely. So these bitch ass motherfuckers, they surrounded his house, they set it on fire. Anya, his daughter's trapped inside. Max trying to rescue his daughter, but they beat the shit out of him. They restrain him. Because this ain't Magneto yet.
Right.
So they're beating his ass. He's forced to watch his daughter burn to death. So imagine the grief, the rage that, I say this all the time in these breakdowns, it shattered his mental barriers. It shattered his mind, but it also shattered the barriers that were holding his powers back. This is where his Omega level magnetism was fully unlocked. He fucking snaps, dude. He takes control of the mob's own pitchforks, their tools, their guns, all that shit, turns their weapons against them, slaughters everybody in seconds. Fuck you, motherfuckers. Right. His wife at the time is terrified by this. Because, I mean, you think about this. I understand, what these motherfuckers are doing.
Right.
But to see him slaughter this group in seconds, she's like, my husband, he's a monster.
Right.
Okay. Magda fled the night, but she was secretly pregnant with twins, Adrian. But wonder who those were. Max, though, was dead, and Magneto was born. There's no more Max, Adrian. This is when Magneto took over. Magna disappears, and Magneto spends years wandering the globe, and he eventually adapts the alias Eric Lencher. Because as a kid, I'm like, what's this motherfucker's name, dude? Some people call him Max, people call him Eric, people call him Magnus. What's this bitch's name? So he changes his name 3 or 4 times. Here it's Eric Lencher. He has to hide his identity from these intelligence agencies because imagine you wiped out a bunch of KGB fucking and local, angry mobsters there. They're going to be looking for your ass. So he's on the run. During this time, he did have time, though, to get some of the strange, Adrian. He had a little affair with an American woman named Susanna Dane, who we've talked about her before because she gives birth to a daughter, Lorna Dane, Polaris. And Susanna was married, so her husband finds out that you're fucking somebody else. That ain't my kid. While they're flying the private plane, they crash the plane. Polaris's, abilities activated. But Magneto didn't find out about Lorna till decades later. Now let's talk about when he met this motherfucker, Charles Xavier, Adrian. So in the 50s, Eric was working at a psychiatric hospital for Holocaust survivors in Israel. And he met a young Charles Xavier. They bonded instantly, Adrian. Charles was shopping for a blanket. And he grabbed the blanket that Magneto was trying to buy.
And their hands touched.
Their hands touched. That was it. They locked eyes, and he's like, oh, my God, it's my blanket, not your blanket. So the origin of the blanket, Magneto helped him.
Right.
He bought him the blanket. It was a gesture of friendship almost. You might want to fact check all of that.
It's like, oh, my God, nobody's ever bought a blanket for me in my life.
So they bonded, Adrian. They spent weeks. They were, and these are two very, I don't know, would you call them geniuses?
No,
but very intelligent, highly intelligent.
Highly intelligent. Their thing is like I was reading this book, and these two guys. So back in the day, the only thing that people could do was talk.
Yeah.
They talk through things.
Right.
They didn't have 1 billion channels to flip through and not watch anything. Right. And that's just on Tubi.
Right.
So they could. Only thing they did was have conversations. Matter of fact, communities were built around churches because churches were the social middle ground for everything. You went to church to learn and hear about things. It's the center of every town. It's the center of every town, right? So these two cats, this guy would go over this guy's house and they would sit in these chairs and just talk about things. Talk about news, talk about their interests. And one night, this guy comes over and the guy lets him in his house. They sit in these two chairs. They're sitting there sipping some cognac or some shit. And they don't say a word. This goes on for hours.
Yeah.
The guy gets up and leaves. And the next time they come together again, they both said that was the best time that they've ever had together.
That's
just
funny.
not talking at all. Not talking at all. So no, they're not, you don't have to be intellectual to have the power that they have.
Right.
Now, they are both fucking combat ready though.
Yes.
Because they've used their powers to probably, I won't say the fullest extent, but they've tasked their powers.
They've done
out.
some shit. Yeah. They've tested those upper limits for sure.
Yep.
So the highly intelligent. So these two, they bond, they have a lot in common, and they spend weeks debating things, genetics, evolution, humanity, all over games of chess. Because again, they're intelligent. So they're sitting there playing chess with each other. No blanket involved at this point, but neither one knew the other was a mutant. So I guess Xavier wasn't trying to read his mind because he would have figured it out. And how the fuck would Magneto know?
He was too enamored with the eyes and the white hair.
He was absolutely. Now this hospital that they worked at though was attacked. Adrian, it's comics, right? So it was attacked,
of course,
by this bitch ass Baron von Strucker. Yes,
that motherfucker.
The neo-Nazi Hydra force. They attacked the hospital because they were looking for a secret cache of hidden Nazi gold, because that's where you would hide your Nazi gold, at the hospital.
Sure.
Right. So
the place that's not supposed to be attacked on either side.
There you go.
Hospital ships, hospitals, all of that stuff supposed to be off limit.
So Von Strucker wants the gold. They attack, and Xavier and Magneto team up. They reveal their powers to each other for the first time, and they defeat Strucker's bitch ass. Now, Xavier, this is where I think they have the first clash right here, because Xavier wants to hand Strucker over to the authorities, and he wants to trust the justice system. Sounds like Matt Murdock here. And what does Magneto want to do? Get rid of this motherfucker. Magneto realizes that Xavier's dream of peaceful coexistence, in his opinion, is a naive fantasy. So what does he do? He takes the gold for himself, Adrian. He leaves Xavier behind. Xavier takes his fucking blanket and rolls home. And this is where he kind of drew the line between them, where he realized that even though we have a lot in common, we are very, very different in our ideologies, and we're not going to be able to sustain this bromance that X-Men 97 wanted to pretend like, that existed. So he bounces to create his own mutant army. But let's talk about the powers here, because this is where he again first showed Xavier his powers. And the power set of Magneto, Adrian, I think is one of the biggest confusing. I think it's one of the things people get wrong so much in the comics and the movies and as fans. They think he's just some gray-haired dude that can move metal. And he's not. Magneto is the master of motherfucking magnetism, Adrian. He's an Omega level mutant. We got to look past just the metal stuff. He commands the electromagnetic force, one of the 4 fundamental forces of the entire universe. And there's no known upper limit to his control over the electromagnetic spectrum.
Right.
So What is that? What are you trying to say? He's a badass motherfucker.
Right.
You don't fuck with this guy.
And the electromagnetic spectrum is composed of more than just the magnetism part.
Correct. And I'm going to tell you about some things that we saw in the movies that maybe even look cool. Oh my God, looks cool, Adrian, but are completely fucking ridiculous when it comes to this man here. So the electromagnetic force is literally what binds atoms and molecules together.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking at the molecular level here. He can manipulate those fields. Magneto can control non-magnetic materials like wood, stone, or plastic by interacting with their atomic bonds. We're getting fucking really sciencey today, Adrian. He can alter the chemical structure of matter at will. He can turn solid rock to dust. He can completely reshape the physical environment without a single ounce of metal present. This table right here, they can't see it, but wood and epoxy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all held together, though. There's atoms here.
Sure.
Magneto could take this table and turn it into fucking dust.
Right.
No metal. We're talking about, he's not metal. He's a magnet man. No, he's not. He's not Magnet Man. He's Magneto. He can also control your body in a lot of ways. Our bodies operate on bioelectricity.
Mm-hmm.
Magneto can manipulate these bioelectric fields to shut down someone's mind. He can completely paralyze them by basically halting we have these nerves that fire.
Mm-hmm.
He can halt those. He can just stop that. You're fucking paralyzed. He can visually perceive the bioelectric aura of a living being.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't see like you and I.
So therefore, Sue Storm is visible still in her invisible state. It's still visible.
I
to
would
him,
think so,
right?
Based off of how that reads, that would make
Right.
sense. So he can see Storm anywhere. I mean, see Sue anywhere. He can track his enemies in pitch darkness because of this. He can also rip iron out of your bloodstream. We all have iron in our bloods.
Yep.
In our bloodstream. He can rip that shit out. He can alter the flow of blood to the brain. He can induce sleep. He can alter your mood. He can cause an instant aneurysm. And you move metal. He's a big magnet, Adrian. Full electromagnetic spectrum. He commands visible light. He can bend light around his body to make himself pretty much invisible. Radio waves, microwaves. He can make your fucking popcorn for you right on the table. X-rays, ultraviolet radiation. He can jam global communications. He can hack satellite networks. He can project intense heat and radiation. Okay, let's talk about the scale. Planetary scale, he can fucking manipulate this field. He can reverse Earth's magnetic poles. He can pull asteroids from deep space into our orbit. We've seen this. And then he can generate electromagnetic pulses, EMPs, strong enough to shut down the entire planet's power grid. We've seen this in X-Men 97. He did it in his fucking undo. He didn't even get dressed for that shit. He's like, I'm going to go up here in my fucking tighty whities and do this, motherfucker. His force fields, they're not made of like just floating scrap. They're actually bubbles, hyper dense bubbles of pure electromagnetic energy. They can withstand nuclear fucking explosions, nuclear detonations. They can withstand cosmic rays, direct hits from Thor, Iron Man, Cyclops. This bubble he puts around him, ain't shit. Get your bitch ass out of here. You ain't touching me, motherfucker.
That's why he be, sliding around with a Rogue and shit.
There you go.
It's like a condom around him.
Oh yeah,
at all
he's got
times.
an electromagnetic body condom at all times. So these Fox movies, I got a love-hate relationship with these movies, dude. Because at the time,
sure,
they were great. It was the X-Men.
It was what it was.
It was what it was. But they fucked a lot up too.
Right.
Or if I want to be nice, they toned a lot down.
Well, to be fair, I mean, they don't really show a lot of this in the comic books either. They really focus on the magnetic part. It's almost like with Superman. Superman can see the entire electromagnetic spectrum.
Right.
But they focus on his heat beams or his X-ray or strengthen it. So, they don't really get into all this other stuff.
Well, thankfully, you got us to do this shit for you. So the Fox movies, I think, completely nerfed him. And I'm going to talk about two specific scenes that I think are awesome scenes. but they make no sense.
Mm-hmm.
So in X2, remember Magneto is in a plastic prison?
Right.
Plastic and glass prison. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There are electromagnetic bonds in all those atoms.
Sure.
The plastic, the glass. He first of all could turn all that shit to dust if he wanted to.
Right. Well, turning it to dust means that he's doing a conversion. I think the phrase is destabilize the atoms so they kind of like fall apart.
Sure.
Right.
Okay. But he can do that to the glass, to the plastic,
anything.
You know, to your fucking hat.
Right.
So he can do that. Then you remember how he got out of the prison in the movie. Mystique injected a guard with liquid iron and Magneto. So they showed some of this, right? He picked up on it,
right?
Which means he can sense, you know, his whatever, his bioelectric aura. But he wouldn't need that, dude. He could literally just pull out the iron that's already in your blood. He could have paralyzed the fucking guard just with his powers, took the fucking keys and got out of that motherfucker. Now, it made for a much more dramatic exit and a much, you know, more brutal scene where he's pulling the blood out of this guy's body and making, you know, fucking metal pancakes to float on. Remember, he's walking out like, there was aura, dude. He's walking out with his arms like this. He's got the metal balls going around him and fucking shooting them. So that scene, you wouldn't have been able to hold him in a plastic prison. Then you have Days of Future Past, the Pentagon. Remember, he's in the bunker in the Pentagon and Quicksilver helps, you know, break him out and all that shit. He's hundreds of feet underground in a concrete room. No metal. I'm also curious to how you got all this concrete down there, no rebar. But that's just a construction guy in me.
Sure.
Again, just like this other scene in the prison, he doesn't need metal down there. He's also permanently connected to Earth's electromagnetic field.
Wait a minute, hold on. Back to the concrete thing. It's not like he's super strong. You don't need to put him in a concrete anything.
Right.
Just put him in a regular fucking locker and it'll do the same thing. A regular room, he can't like kick the door down.
No.
You know.
Not in this movie.
I don't know why you got to do all that.
Well, you had to get all the concrete, no rebar, and I guess no electricity. But he's permanently connected to Earth's magnetic field, electromagnetic field. So he could just pull on the Earth's poles to crack the fucking Pentagon open from the inside.
Sure.
He could generate an EMP locally and fry all their cameras. He could bend light to turn invisible and walk right out of the fucking door without these motherfuckers seeing him. So as cool as that was, the breakout, when it comes to Magneto, he's too powerful for you regular ass, human bitch ass motherfuckers to hold in any kind of prison. You're not putting him in jail. You either fucking kill him or leave him alone. That's it.
There's that.
So let's go back to the comics. He debuted as the X-Men's very first villain back in the 60s, forming the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Initially, it was Wanda and Pietro. Now, I'm going to tell you something about my deep dives, Adrian. I'm giving you my story, okay? Meaning, if something's really fucking stupid, I'm going to leave it out. So I'm just going to tell you, in my story, Wanda and Pietro are his kids.
Sure.
I don't like the retcon they did a few years ago where they were, you know, experimented on by the high evolutionary and they're not mutants. They were given their powers and they're not his real kids. And then he still treats them like his real kids. Sometimes they just do too much. Sometimes just keep the original fucking story. So in my story, those are his kids. You don't like that? Watch somebody else's shit. So he establishes this group for mutant superiority. That is one of the biggest differences between Magneto and Charles Xavier. Charles believes in equality. We are equal with humans. Mutants, I say we because we're mutants, right? So Charles thinks we can coexist, Adrian. Based off of history, do you think mutants and humans can coexist?
No.
No. Magneto doesn't think so either. He thinks, fuck them humans. We are superior. We are a superior race to them.
I think they can coexist, but humans do what humans do. And, you know, specifically, European humans.
Sure.
Right? Their superpower is what? Killing and stealing.
Killing people, yeah.
So, and they brought that over to the States and they continue that shit. And they created laws so they can continue that kind of shit.
Sure.
So it's not that they can't commune together. It's just they won't.
Right. One of the first analogies I heard from Stan Lee about these characters, he said he looked at it as Professor Xavier is Martin Luther King and Magneto is Malcolm X when it comes to this fight, which makes sense. So what does Magneto do? The Hydra gold that he took, he builds Asteroid M. It's this heavily armed asteroid that is in the Earth's atmosphere, and it is meant to serve as a sanctuary exclusively for mutants because he refuses to share the planet with these motherfuckers at this point. Yes. And then he actually realizes that early on in the 80s that some of his methods are a little violent, maybe even terrorist, in a way. So he understands that all he's doing is making humans hate mutants more. So he surrenders. He surrenders to the World Court in Paris, and he stands trial for crimes. One of the crimes he stands trial for is sinking the Russian submarine, the Leningrad, with everybody on board. So he's like, fuck that submarine. He killed a bunch of people. Magneto's got a lot of bodies, dude.
Sure.
Now, during the trial, of course, some terrorists attack, and Xavier pushes himself to the brink of death, Adrian. He saves the courtroom, but he's damn near dead. Where does he go to heal? Outer space. He's probably looking for a fucking Lander or something. I don't know. But he makes Magneto promise to take over his dream. He gave him his blanket. He lended it to him, and he said, take care of this blanket. There's a lint brush in my top drawer because it does collect lint. But he also asked him to take over as headmaster of the X-Men and mentoring the New Mutants, a headmaster of his school.
Wait a minute. So the terrorists break into the trial. That doesn't stop the trial, does it? Oh, apparently it does.
Apparently it does.
Because he just walks away?
I guess.
You're free to go.
Right.
All right. What kind of bullshit is that?
But Magneto takes over, dude. He's the guy in charge now. So he went from being their biggest adversary to now their teacher. Now, this time for him, though, was also traumatic. Some of his young students, Cypher being one of them, were killed in action. And Magneto, it fucks with him, dude. He falls back on the other side again. He becomes convinced that Xavier's a pacifist, and his ideology is getting these innocent mutant children killed. That forced him to abandon the school and go back to being an extremist on the other side. He said, fuck this. He said, fuck the kids, fuck the school, shove the school up your ass, Chuck, I'm out. I think that's verbatim what he may have said. You might want to fact check that too. So in the 90s, Magneto builds a new orbital base called Avalon, and the UN decides that he can't do that, and they activate a satellite network that is designed to alter the Earth's magnetic field to prevent him from using his powers. Well, there's a theme here. Don't fuck with Magneto. He retaliates. What does he do? He unleashes a massive global EMP, because we talked about his power set. Okay, you can't fuck with the Earth's field right now because we set up these satellites. Watch this, bitch. Massive EMP that cripples the Earth, dude. Fucking power's out. Oh my God, everything's falling apart. And Xavier decides to lead a strike team onto Avalon to stop him. There's a brutal fight. Wolverine stabs this motherfucker right through the chest. And in response to that, Magneto pushes his powers to the limit, and he rips out every single fucking molecule of adamantium right out of Wolverine's skeleton through his pores, nearly kills him. Again, don't fuck with Magneto.
Right.
Witnessing Xavier, this was traumatic for Xavier because Wolverine's one of his students.
It was more that he couldn't believe that his beloved could do something like that, right? Oh my God, Magneto, yeah.
So you've been watching too much X-Men 97 because you know what? I've seen a lot of their relationship in the comics. Not at one point have I seen them fucking simping out for each other trying to play tummy sticks.
Not
once. So Xavier witnesses this, and this pushes him to cross his line. He uses his telepathy, there he goes again. He uses his telepathy to completely wipe Magneto's mind, leaves him in a vegetative state, dude. This psychic attack is actually the catalyst for Onslaught. There's a whole deep dive on that.
Right.
Check that out if you haven't. We're not going to do that now, obviously. Magneto is then cared for by his acolytes because, dude, Magneto always has people around him.
Sure.
He's a leader.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, there's more people that follow. It's not facts.
Okay,
definitely fact check this. It's just a thought that there's probably more people that follow bad people, murder, serial killers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about people that follow Manson and fucking all these people that killed 8 people and all this kind of bullshit. There's people that follow madmen.
Sure.
Period.
Yep. But Magneto, I think he walks that line where he's a madman, but not to his people.
Sure.
A lot of like Doom in a way, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna take care of my people. Now, Magneto's people are mutants, and he's gonna do whatever it takes to protect them.
Right.
But if you're not on that side, you might as well be fucking dead, dude. Who cares? So these acolytes, they're keeping them in the shadows, letting them heal for years. There was a younger clone of Magneto that joined the X-Men at that point. His name was Joseph, and which made the world believe that Magneto had actually reformed. So it gave him some time to heal and then eventually come back. So he does eventually return, and he strong arms the UN into giving him the island nation of Genosha. He builds a mutant society of 16 million people, to a thriving society. I mean, think about that whole duality here. Yes, he's an extremist in a lot of ways, but even from the beginning, from Asteroid M to Avalon to now Genosha, he's been trying to create a safe space for mutants.
So that's literally what this follows the trend of like black people, right?
Mm-hmm.
They build some shit, it's thriving, it's going along, and let me guess what happens.
Boom. Yep. And again, that's where you can plug and play a lot of groups there.
Yeah.
Right? Jewish people in Palestine, same shit. They got this, it's working.
Right.
Someone else goes, what the fuck they doing over there?
Right.
Watch this. So Magneto, again, don't fuck with him. So he returns, he's got Genosha, it's thriving, and unfortunately, we all know what happens at Genosha. This stupid bald bitch, Cassandra Nova, she unleashes these wild sentinels on the island, and she slaughters damn near 16 million mutants in fucking minutes. Magneto barely survives himself. Yes. Then we fast forward to another tragedy, Adrian. His daughter, Scarlet Witch. She's, oh my God, she's unstable. My kids, are they dead? Are they not? I'm gonna rewrite the whole reality. She creates a world where mutants are the ruling class, and Magneto rules this mutant empire from Genosha. Then Magneto realizes that Quicksilver manipulated Wanda into doing this, and it's all not real. Magneto beats Pietro to death. Hell of a fucking father, right?
Right.
Yeah, like any father would do. He beat his son to death when he realized he manipulated his sister.
Oh, he learned from the Anunnaki.
So Wanda's devastated. What she does is resurrects her brother, and she utters the famous 3 words, no more mutants, depowers 99% of the mutant population, including Magneto. I'll show you, bitch. Now, the High Evolutionary, another motherfucker here. This guy is, we would do a deep dive on him one day.
Right. He's
a piece of shit. But what he does do, though, is High Evolutionary helps Magneto regain his powers. Magneto then does something that, to a lot of people, is may sound out of character, but he seeks out Cyclops. At this point, Cyclops is leading the surviving mutants. Remember, the mutant population is decimated at this point. So he's leading these surviving mutants on the island of Utopia, and Magneto literally drops to his knees in front of Cyclops, not in the way Xavier would want him to.
Right.
He admits that Cyclops has achieved the unity and the survival for mutants that Magneto has actually failed to build. And he pledged his absolute loyalty to Scott Summers. He fucking game recognized game. He's like, dude, you got this shit. You did what I was trying to do. Respect. I got your back. Pretty much what he said. He acts as Cyclops' enforcer in a lot of ways. He's his right-hand man through Avengers vs. X-Men, through that whole war. He supports Cyclops' militant stance up into the point where Scott gets corrupted by the Phoenix Force and Scott goes too far. I mean, he kills Xavier in this. So he had his back until he went too crazy.
Right.
We all have friends, right? People that you're like, I got your back. Then they do something like way too, like, bro, you fucking ran over 3 people. Like,
right.
You're not invited to Thanksgiving anymore, bro. You're fucking whacked. So he's doing way too much, dude. But he definitely, you start to see, I guess, this change for Magneto. This is where in the comics, I feel like he leaned more towards the anti-hero versus the villain or anti-villain, right? So fast forward, the Krakoan era. Mutants have this sovereign island, this nation of Krakoa, and Magneto finally gets his sanctuary, dude. He serves as a founding leader on the Quiet Council along Xavier and Apocalypse of all people.
Damn.
Yes. One of his greatest feats in the comics, and especially later on in the comics, is he works with a team of Omega-level mutants, Storm being one of them. She played a massive role in this. And they completely terraformed the planet Mars in a single afternoon. They renamed it Araco or Erico, some shit like that. They claimed the planet as a new mutant homeworld and officially declared mutants the dominant species of the solar system. So you ain't gonna have us on Earth every time we do something, bro. We can't even have our own fucking asteroid, right? We try to have Genosha, you fucked that up. We try to have Utopia, you fucked that up. Well, now we're going to move to motherfucking Mars, and now we're the dominant species. And then Magneto does die in the comics, though, Adrian. He fights this cosmic weapon, Uranus, where the fuck this bitch is, but he literally punches a hole through Magneto's chest. He rips out his heart. Listen to this shit. So he's in this brutal battle with this guy, Uranus. Uranus pulls out his heart. Magneto's unfazed. He uses his own powers to manually pump his blood through his veins, keeping himself alive long enough to win, but then eventually dies.
Sure.
A hero's death. Ain't that some shit? You pumped your own blood just to make sure you fucking finish this motherfucker.
Well, I'm assuming this guy was pretty powerful to get through that condom, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, he had condom penetration, Adrian. And Magneto actually deleted his genetic backups from the Krakoan, because one thing about the Krakoan era is they've figured out how to resurrect dead mutants. But he deleted his backups because he believed that death should be real.
Sure.
Death should have a real consequence. But then, of course, mutant kind's facing absolute extinction in the Fall of X, and then Storm journeys into the afterlife, because Storm is a god, by the way, and she pulls his soul back, resurrecting him for one last war. So Magneto is the ultimate hero, villain, anti-villain, anti-hero, a guy who is a leader that you want, and he has the power to fucking take over. He is a dude that they did a really good job with his character, but I think it's almost impossible to get the full effect of comic Magneto on screen.
Oh, yeah.
He's just that impressive of an individual. So the ultimate, not just a metal man. He ain't just a fucking purple dickhead. He is a motherfucking savage. And I said this earlier, when I do these deep dives, I'm giving you my story. In my story, Wanda and Pedro are still his kids. Right. I don't, in 2014, they retconned this, and they said that they were genetically engineered by the High Evolutionary, and they're not mutants at all, and they're not even his children. And then Magneto still treated them like kids. It's like, were they just run out of shit to write? Like, let's just fucking change this? I don't know. He also has a very intense on and off again relationship with Rogue. While they're in the Savage Land, also in the Age of Apocalypse timeline, we see that. But I think what that proves is even after all this traumatic shit he's gone through, he's not just a soldier. He's not just a machine of war. He's also capable of really being in love with someone, and they do share that bond. So, and this is why people ask me all the time, especially on the lives, who's your favorite Marvel character? I lean towards Magneto. I think Magneto is definitely. I'm not a favorites guy. I can't pick a favorite color. I don't have a favorite kid. You know, I don't have. It's hard for me to pick favorites. But he is definitely one of my top Marvel characters because of, you know, how well written he is, and just I get his cause. I get it because the humans in the comics have proven over and over and over again, living together is not their strong suit. Accepting something that's different is not their strong suit. And it's always going to backfire and the mutants are going to suffer.
Well, I mean, that's not just in the comics. That's real life. Dude.
Absolutely. And I think that's also why I gravitate towards this character, because he is the centerpiece between him and Charles of this analogy of this, you know, this story in the comics that emulates things that happen in real life. You know, so when people go, comics, they're going too woke. Dude, this is back in the 60s they were doing this shit.
Right.
This is not new. This is why comics were created in a lot of ways.
It's like my granddaughter, she starts playing this song off of YouTube. She's like, Grandpa, you know what this song is? I'm listening to it. I'm like, within the first couple of bars, I already know what the song is.
Okay.
It was Beat It by Michael Jackson.
Oh.
So it's like, you know, something that I grew up with, they're now just discovering.
Yep.
It's like that with people with comics.
Yeah.
They're just discovering things, but this shit has been happening since the very beginning. It's not woke.
No.
It's always been this way.
It's always been
just because you just found it or figured it out, you know, that doesn't mean it is, you know, it's like people create these new words for old words. You know, you say this long, complicated ass word. Why don't you just say duh or it or whatever, you know?
Right.
It's like, damn, dude, you don't have to make shit up. It already exists.
Correct.
They come in your house. Oh, I found this. No, motherfucker, you don't find anything in my house. You know, you didn't find shit.
Right.
I found your wallet on the table. No, you didn't. It's in my wallet on my table in my house.
I discovered it, Adrian.
Yeah.
Well, some people discovered this podcast this week.
Oh, okay.
There's that. You know?
It's good.
That is good. But that is motherfucking Magneto, Adrian. A GOAT, a hell of a leader, and someone that I hope we really get. I hope we get another awesome version in, you know, this next series of movies. So we're going to stick to X-Men for a little bit. X-Men 97 wrapped up a week ago. There's a character in X-Men who is named Morph. And I'm going to tell you, Adrian, Morph is not what you think. Maybe not you, but maybe them. Morph is not what you think. He's not a comic book character. He's a character from a cartoon, an animated series that was based on a comic book character, who then years later, that comic book character turned himself into the character from the cartoon, if that makes any sense. I'm going to explain that. So Morph is actually based on a character named Changeling. Okay, you ever heard of Changeling?
Yep.
Now, funny thing about Changeling is DC also has a character that uses the name Changeling. So
Steppy's green.
Steppy's green. Let's talk about Changeling in Marvel. Changeling was introduced in 1967. His real name is Kevin Sidney, and he wasn't a hero. He was a shape-shifting villain. He was the second in command of the Factor 3, this is a mutant supremacist group. Eventually, he turned coat. He joined the X-Men because he discovered that their leader, the Mutant Master, was an alien plotting Earth's destruction. So he wasn't even a fucking mutant. And then shortly after that, Kevin Sidney realizes that he's suffering from a terminal illness. So knowing his time was short, he seeked out Charles Xavier because he wanted to basically make some amendments. You know, he had these past crimes. He's about to die. He wanted to make some things right. So he called up Xavier. He dusted off the blanket for him. And at this point, Xavier was hiding in an underground bunker to prepare for an impending alien invasion by some fucking alien race. Changeling agreed to impersonate Xavier and lead the X-Men in his absence. Okay. So while he was pretending to be Xavier, Xavier actually gave him some of his telepathic abilities, because Changeling, we'll talk about his power set in a little bit. He can, some abilities, it's very unique. It's very, there's a lot of nuance to it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So the team thought that it was Xavier the whole time. And then this motherfucker is killed in battle. So you pretend to be Xavier, you're there, you get killed off. So he's done in the comics at this point. When they started the X-Men animated series, they're developing this show, and the showrunners wanted to kill an X-Men in the pilot episode to establish that the stakes were high in the show.
Okay.
Makes sense, right? In a fucking kid show, why not? So they originally chose Thunderbird. Thank God they didn't do this, because imagine the backlash this would have got. The only Native American character in this show is killed in the first episode.
Oh, but it's okay to wipe out the black people within 30 seconds of a show.
Well, they didn't do that either here.
Oh, my God.
Well, I think they realized that if they did something along those lines, the backlash that they would have got. So they're like, fuck, Thunderbird's off the table. They dug up this motherfucker who was dead in the comics, Changeling, but then the lawyers stepped in, and they were like, guys, there is another, believe it or not, there's another comic company out there. Right. DC Comics, you ever heard of them? Everyone's like, who the fuck's that? No.
Right.
But,
they're still saying that.
Yeah, like, what do you mean DC? They're all confused. They had to put on Cerebro to figure it out and shit. But anyways, DC had an active trademark for the name Changeling because they were using it for Beast Boy in Teen Titans. So to dodge a lawsuit from DC, the Marvel animation team rebranded this character as Morph. So he was created, he was based on a comic character, but created for the show, okay? And they did a good job of making you like Morph in this first episode of X-Men, the animated series. He had a good personality. He was sarcastic. He was the best friend of Wolverine. Obviously, we know then they change him into a guy who wants to suck Wolverine's dick for some reason. But in this show, he's just Wolverine's best friend. And he takes a blast from a Sentinel that was meant for Logan. And it happens to be a fatal blast. He jumped in the way to save Logan. I guess he didn't realize that Logan was pretty much, immortal.
Right.
Let him take the blast so he'll heal. He jumps in front. He gets fucking blasted and he's dead. The thing is, this throwaway character, they did such a good job with him. The audience was pissed, dude. They wanted him back. We love Morph. Oh my God, we want Morph back. So they decide to bring him back later on. Mr. Sinister resurrected him, brainwashed him, and it created this split personality for him in the show. So he returns, a season later. Let's talk about his powers, though. This is something that, we were trying to figure out throughout X-Men 97 because he's turning into all these motherfuckers. I'm like, why is he turning into Hulk? Does he get his power? Does he not? So again, it's very nuanced in a lot of ways. Morphs, and this is the X-Men 97 version, the not the comic Changeling, although it's pretty similar. He can replicate any physical attribute of a character, but he cannot replicate energy or supernatural abilities.
Gotcha.
Okay? Physical attributes, not energy or abilities. So if Morph turns into somebody like Colossus, he's not just putting on a visual costume like Mystique does. He can consciously regenerate his cells to mimic organic steel, so he can give himself Colossus's extreme durability. If he turns into the Hulk, he gains the dense muscle mass and superhuman strength from that form. Now, the Deadpool healing factor, the cellular regeneration, is a physical trait. So Morph, we've seen this in X-Men 97, he can borrow a healing factor if he turns into Deadpool. We saw him get fucking stabbed or something by one of the Brood. He turns into Deadpool and he survives. Morph, one thing he cannot do, though, is mimic non-physical mutant abilities. For instance, if he turns into Cyclops, he ain't blasting shit out of his eyes.
Right.
If he turns into Storm, he can't make it rain, dude. If he turns into Xavier, he can't use the blanket. He can't. So he can only use physical abilities. A hell of a fucking power, though.
Oh, yeah.
And now I think it makes more sense as to why he's bouncing around from all these different characters in a fight, right? Because like, oh shit, these guys are strong. Let me turn into Hulk for a second.
Right.
Oh, they're fucking, I just got fucked up. Let me turn into Deadpool for a minute. I need to be more agile. Let me turn into somebody smaller. I need to, so I wonder, like, with the Fantastic Four, the physical ability would be going invisible, would be, stretching out, right?
No. No.
You don't think so?
No, I think he could turn into the Human Torch. Anybody but Sue.
Okay.
Because her power is generating the energy force
in
order to do those things.
So
even the Human Torch might be a stretch, but definitely
Reed,
the Thing and Reed. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. And I think we saw him as Thing in one of the. I can't keep up. There were so many, different versions. But yes, he can't summon lightning. He can't use telepathy. He stayed. Now back to the comics. Changeling stayed dead for decades, bro. This ain't like everybody else. They die for a year and all of a sudden they're back on the page. This dude. Now Morph did show up in some different universes like Age of Apocalypse and a whole other universe, but this Changeling character stayed dead until the mutant the Krakoan era. We talked about Krakoan resurrections, and they did resurrect him, but they also changed the way he looked and they changed his name. They gave him this kind of like the newer face from X-Men 97 where it's almost like Play-Doh and shit. They gave him that face. They gave him the Morph name. So when he was brought back to life, he now was closer to this version from X-Men 97 than he was the original Changeling. So I thought this was, I got a lot of questions. I've been getting a lot of requests about who the fuck is Morph, but I always knew he wasn't a comic character. So there's not going to be that same backstory.
Right.
But I thought this was interesting how 99% of the characters start in comics first. I mean, the only other one that comes to mind that's a big popular character is Harley Quinn.
Right.
She was created on the Batman the Animated Series and then added into the comics. And she's been in a lot of big comic stories too.
Sure.
Like she was in Hush. Like wasn't just like some throwaway character. She was that popular where they made her a main character in a lot of comics. I mean, and now she's got the show with Poison Ivy. She's had her own, storyline or her own comics in comics. And Morph, not so much. They just resurrected him in 2025. That's crazy too. Dude fucking was killed off in the comics in what, the damn 70s maybe?
Yeah.
Long fucking time ago, dude. Over 40 years. And now his bitch ass is back. So I thought it was interesting how the two, one inspired the other, and then that one inspired the original one to kind of change into to Morph, if you will, Adrian. So Changeling turned into Morph, and Morph was inspired by Changeling.
So morphed into Morph.
There you go.
Wow.
Or Changeling changed into Morph.
There you
You're changing while you're morphing while you're changing. This is a dude turn into another dude, dressed as another dude, and in the show for some reason trying to fuck another dude.
There, all of that.
And that just goes to show you, or everything I explained about this character, nothing that I found had my man trying to get with Wolverine.
Right.
It was always, they were just friends. That was his boy, dude. But I mean, we had certain people at the helm of the ship there, Adrian. So anyways, moving on. We're gonna get into some DC, Adrian. Lanterns. Now's the time. I watched this last night, and I when it ended, I was almost like, I don't know how to feel about this. It wasn't bad. It was kind of boring. It was kind of slow. It was a lot of backstory in this one episode. I am intrigued into watching the second episode. But the thing that got me more intrigued was the preview that came after the show. I don't know if you watched this at the end. Knowing you probably didn't. No. So I'll tell you kind of what I got from that. But from the episode alone, I kind of was just like, it felt like a lot of nothing in a lot of ways. So I didn't hate it. I wasn't blown away by it, but I am intrigued to see some more. What were your initial thoughts?
I liked it.
You did? Okay.
I actually liked that better than Wonder Man. Now, considering the narrative that he's being taught by Hal as opposed to what actually happened in the comics,
right?
I think it made sense. The only thing is that a lot of these characters, it's kind of like The Rock, right? He's always The Rock, regardless of the movie he plays in.
Okay.
Or Vin Diesel. He's always, Toretto. I think this actor, because I've only seen him in one other show, one other movie, and he kind of plays the same kind of character, that kind of easygoing, steady, personality kind of.
Are you talking about the guy who plays Hal Jordan, or the guy who plays John Stewart? Okay,
the John Stewart character. So considering what they're doing, it made sense. I didn't find it slow at any point. Lot of cursing. Lot of cursing.
Yeah, it ain't PG-13.
No, not at all. Then the sex scene, so I can understand why it's on HBO.
Yeah.
Right. So I found it. The only thing that was kind of weird, and it kind of makes sense to end it on it, was Hal Jordan, I guess, is dead at the end.
Right.
Sitting in the bleachers. I guess we're going to figure out how all that happened, but the ring is gone. Right. Looks like somebody cut his finger off or something. Right. Well, in the comics, read a comic. In the comics, the ring finds its next worthy owner.
Okay.
So where's the ring?
Right.
So that's the only thing that kind of, but it's a show. I mean, they change some shit. They changed the origin of John Stewart, so therefore they're going to change probably how this ring thing works. So I liked it.
Okay, you liked it. Now I'm not a Green Lantern guy. Like, I don't dislike. I've just never done a deep dive in the Green Lantern. You've read some Green Lantern.
Yeah, I've watched all the animation, movies of him. All that kind of shit. Yeah.
Okay. So I know there's changes to the origin, changes to a lot of shit, but in stuff like that, I always look for this. Like, if you're going to change some stuff, at least still make that character feel like the comic character. Still make, whether it's a personality, a power, like don't change it so much that I don't recognize the character. Do you feel like with all these changes, they still kind of give you the embodiment of these characters, or do they feel very, very different?
I've only seen John Stewart like in the First Flight movie, Green Lantern. Not First Flight, because that's about Hal Jordan, but when John Stewart got his ring. So the way he got it in the movie was Owen crash landed on Earth.
Okay.
Right? He was severely injured. He died. He was looking for John Stewart. He died because he knew he was dying. He crash landed basically in John Stewart's backyard, and when he died and his body disintegrated, the ring immediately leapt onto John Stewart's hand.
Okay.
He didn't know what was going on. And he kind of asked the ring to, like, hey, is there anybody I could talk to about this shit? Because the ring wouldn't come off.
Yeah.
Because Green Lanterns, they can take the ring off whenever they want to, but when they transferred to John, he probably figured he wasn't going to know what was happening, so he made the ring not be able to be taken off.
Got it.
So it shot him up to the Watchtower, and they kind of went on this adventure about finding out about the Owens and all this other kind of shit. So that's how we got it in that movie.
Okay.
This is a education from Hal Jordan, which is different. Now Hal Jordan becomes like a Cyclops. At some point, they get, their fucking head gets too big for themselves, and they become this whole different person.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I think we see some of that in this episode.
Yeah. So it's an older Hal Jordan. Yeah. He's not going to just give up the ring.
Right.
And he makes that clear. He's kind of a celebrity. He's taking advantage of that.
Sure.
So in the context of this, I don't feel like they changed the characters. It's just a little different because most of the Green Lantern that we're accustomed to is the younger Green Lantern.
Yeah.
It's like a cop is on the beat and then he changes into the chief of police. So he's behind a desk all the time.
Yeah.
It's like a different part in his life, and he has to train his replacement, which he don't think needs to happen in the first place.
Right. Okay.
So it's a little different. I don't think it's too far away from the characters.
Still feels like the characters
yeah.
to you. Yeah. Okay. And and I don't have that perspective because I don't know enough about these. I've seen some of those animated movies, and so watching it again, didn't dislike it. I just it felt a little long, and it definitely has me interested. But what really got me was the preview that happened after. So in this, Guy Gardner's back. We see his fucking dumbass.
Wow.
He's talking shit. He's being Guy. He's talking shit. He's like, oh, fuck it. I don't need no help type shit.
Right.
You still see Hal Jordan despite the death. So, and him and John are going at each other a little bit where they're not on the same side. And it shows that.
What, Hal and John or Guy Gardner?
Hal and John.
Okay.
Because.
So that sounds like something that happened because when the show opened, it was in the 90s or something.
Right.
So then when Hal died, it was later.
Yep.
So I'm assuming they're going to have many adventures together.
Yeah.
In the show. Because I don't see Hal going away out of the show.
Right.
Even though he died in the first episode.
Yeah, it almost feels like this. The vibe I kind of got from this little trailer, this preview, was that the show is going to continue to bounce around.
Sure.
Where we're going to see what happened more before Hal died.
Right.
Unless he died and comes back next fucking week. Who knows? But the vibe I got from this trailer, now again, it was like 3 a.m. And so I was like, one-eyed looking at the trailer. But it showed Hal not wanting John to replace him and John being pushed to replace him by some others. And it escalating to getting pretty violent.
Right.
But again, that could be what precedes what we saw at the very end of that episode. So that trailer kind of pulled it made the episode make more sense to me and definitely has me interested in next week. So I'm liking it, dude. I am. As much as throughout the first episode, I was like, God, it also was late. You know how it is.
Sure.
Fucking 3 a.m, you're watching shit like, God, this fucking thing's taking a long time. But I like and it feels like a big budget show too. It don't feel like some bullshit, something slapped together just to fill a slot. This feels like they spent a lot on this,
right. There was one scene, and this was even before the show actually aired. It was in the preview, the commercials. Hal Jordan taking flight without the green glow.
Well, we saw it in this show too. Yeah,
right.
I was going to ask you about that.
I mean, I've never seen it because he has to. I'm not saying that he has to be enveloped in this field in order to fly. It's kind of like in that show, in that scene, it acted like the Justice League's ring, the flight ring. So all the Justice League in the future, in the 30th century, they have these flight rings.
Okay,
and it enables them to fly even through space and all this other kind of stuff.
Got it.
And it protects them by enveloping them in like an invisible field. So kind of like, but it's invisible. So it's kind of like what happened with that scene. I've never seen him take flight. Any lantern take flight without a glow, whether green, blue, yellow, Sinestro, the red, none of that.
And you mean a glow around their body,
right?
Yeah,
right. Because
not just the ring. Because I think that the ring, like the little glow came out of the ring,
sure, and
then he fucking takes off,
right? I've never seen that.
Okay,
right. Well, besides the fact that it's a huge fucking ring. I mean, this thing was like, it's just a shield, just put it up like that. But so I've never seen that happen, but we'll see if they adjust later on.
Oh, one of the things I wanted to ask you, so in this trailer, there's a scene where John is holding a lantern, an actual lantern. What's the fucking lantern for?
That's how the ring gets powered back up.
Okay.
It's like your phone, right?
Yeah.
Your phone will eventually die and you plug it in.
Got it.
That's what I
remember the guy said something, you don't have a lantern with you, so whatever.
Right.
So the ring has a charge. And
correct.
By using it, it depletes it.
Right.
And then you have to put in a lantern, what, fucking overnight? 10
no.
minutes?
So step back. So Oa is a planet where these beings, the Oans, they're like little midget, big-headed ass aliens, right? They've been around for millennia, and they created the Lantern Corps, right? And the Green Lanterns, they're not even the most powerful. I think it's like the red or fucking whatever, the white or whatever. Of course, the white.
Of course.
So they created this core. Now they have a giant battery on Oa from which these other portable batteries duplicate.
Okay.
And the way it works is the batteries pull energy from a subdimension to power it. In order to power the ring, you just tap the battery. You got to do this little seance.
Okay.
The fucking darkest night and greenest days and all this other kind of bullshit, right? And it pretty much instantaneous. By the time you get through this little speech, the ring is powered, fully powered.
Yeah.
The more you use it, how it gets drained is use, right? And it's either over time or complexity of the structures that you create, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like if you create like a super powerful construct, it'll drain the battery faster than if you just created blankets and handed them out and that kind of bullshit.
Okay. Got it. Well, it looks like we're gonna see the motherfucking lantern soon in this.
Also, I've never seen a construct being created that's separate from the ring. In other words, you have to constantly power. You'll see the light go from the ring to the construct. Hal created a fucking dollar bill and stuffed it into a thing, into a jukebox.
Right.
I've never seen that either.
They kept playing the same song.
Right.
And I think we even seen some of that in Superman when Guy Gardner was pulling things up out of remember the middle fingers out of the ground and stuff like that. It didn't look very connected to the ring. It just looked like he was summoning, constructs.
I think we just couldn't see the ring at the time.
Possibly. But I mean, they changed some things, but
sure.
Again, all in all, I think I like the first episode. I liked it more after the trailer, and I'm looking forward to watching episode 2. So moving on, something that I also was looking forward to watching. I know you weren't looking forward to watching this because you never got through it. Moon Knight, Road to Doomsday. Moon Knight was this past week, and what I will say about this show, though, of all the projects that are on this road to Doomsday, all the movies and shows, this one I think probably sets up the least, if not nothing, for Doomsday. I don't think there's much. I could be completely wrong. Maybe Moon Knight comes in and saves the fucking day, but there's no word on a second season. There's no mention of him showing back up anywhere. But this show, I did like this show. I did it. And watching it the second time, it felt like a whole different show. There's so much shit I didn't remember. And the show follows Stephen Grant, who's this gift shop employee in London, but he suffers these blackouts and he doesn't remember what the fuck happens. And then he'll wake up in a different place. He'll wake up, there's fucking people dead around him. He straps himself to his bed at night because he can change into this other personality and have no fucking idea what goes on. Now, we learn that Stephen Grant's one personality that shares the body of Mark Spector, who is this highly trained, brutal fucking mercenary. And then to make matters worse, Mark is also possessed by the avatar, or he's the avatar for this Egyptian god of the moon and vengeance, Khonshu. So you're possessed by an Egyptian god, and you have a dissociative identity disorder where there's multiple personalities fucking fighting for this body at all times. Kind of a clusterfuck. But I like the show. It's a 6-episode show. It had a budget of about 147 million, so 25 mil per episode. They brought in an Egyptian director for this, Mohammed Diab, to ensure that the culture was represented properly, modern day Cairo and Egyptian mythology. So that was cool, because when you see stuff like that, you never know. Like, is someone just making this shit up, or is this, like Ms. Marvel's a show where you can tell they brought in someone who understood that culture because of how well it was portrayed. So they did that here, and it got a pretty good reception, and I think people really loved Oscar Isaac's portrayal. His ability to switch between Mark and Steven throughout this was phenomenal. It was really fucking good. An acting masterclass, as they say, Adrian. So it was praised for the respectful portrayal of this mental disorder, this personality disorder. But the big issue a lot of people had was the CGI from the end of this, and I will say it definitely it was a step down from a lot of their other stuff. Put it that way. But let's talk about these few individuals here, because the show itself, again, I don't think is going to lead to anything in the MCU, but it does. The only thing I think it could set up is, now this hasn't been announced yet officially, it's been rumored, is Midnight Suns, because in Midnight Suns, Moon Knight's a character that definitely can, it's a supernatural team, right? He can play a role in that. Blade, you can bring him there. You did this Werewolf by Night shit. There's characters in that could probably be positioned for a Midnight Suns team up. So I think that's a possibility, but the more that we get into this X-Men away from, I don't know that we, will ever see fucking Moon Knight again. Who knows? But what I wanted to talk about was his power set, because he is someone, we talked about this before, where people look at him as, oh, he's Marvel's Batman. No, the fuck he's not. Not even close. Why? Because he goes out at night and wears a fucking cape? No, this dude is fucking tapped. So Mark Spector, he ain't just a random mercenary. He's got quite the background. He's the son of a rabbi who survived the Holocaust, settled in Chicago, and Mark rejected his father's pacifist mentality early on. There's a theme today. People don't like pacifists.
Right.
So he became a boxer. He joined the Marines, and he worked for the CIA before he became this mercenary gun for hire. He took, he gets to become a mercenary. He's taking these high paying jobs to fucking kill people alongside, he's working with his pilot, or his best friend, his pilot, John Paul Duchamp, was also a mercenary, ruthless mercenary. And the defining moment for Moon Knight, where he became Moon Knight, they're doing a job, these mercenaries, near the Egyptian border. And this other mercenary attempts to loot an archaeological dig. So they're digging some shit up. He attempts to loot this shit. They murder the lead archaeologist, this guy named Peter, Dr. Peter. And Mark decides that this is just too much. He turns on this guy, Bushman was his name. He turns on Bushman to protect the daughter of the archaeologist, because they're trying to fucking kill everyone, dude. So he's brutally beaten, and Bushman leaves him to freeze to death in the fucking, somehow the desert was sub-zero temperatures. I thought the desert was always hot, but I guess it gets cold there too, huh? So it's sub-zero temperatures. He leaves Mark to fucking die. The locals drag Mark's dying body into a nearby tomb, and he fucking dies right at the feet of the statue of Khonshu. The moon god appears in a vision. He offers him. He makes him an offer. There's no blanket involved here, dude. He makes him an offer. I will resurrect you if you agree to be my avatar on Earth. So you're dead, and then this vengeful god says, I'll resurrect you if you be my avatar on Earth. You let me possess you, pretty much. So he's like, sure, fuck it, why not? Mark wakes up.
What do I have to lose?
Yeah, right. I'm already dead, so shit. I get another shot at this, and I get to be your avatar. Sure. So he takes a little silver shroud off the statue, uses it as a cloak, and he dismantles Bushman's entire fucking operation. So that's how he got the power. Let's talk about the power set. Is Moon Knight superhuman? I don't know. It's unique. So Mark Spector is an Olympic level athlete and a master martial artist already. Okay. In the comics, he uses a Stephen Grant alter ego who is actually a millionaire in the comics. He's not a gift shop worker, and he funds this endless supply of gadgets, these crescent darts, these adamantium fucking pieces. He's got the carbonadium armor, like this bitch ass Omega Red, a moon copter that he has. So Stephen Grant's a millionaire. He has a third personality who's a master detective, Jake Lockley. He's a cab driver, and he runs a massive network of street-level informants. So he's got 3 fucking very different personas. But the moon, the moon gives him enhancements, and his strength and speed and reflexes are actually tied to phases of the moon. Under a new moon, he's just a base level guy. He's just a highly fucking trained guy. Under a full moon, he could lift over 2 tons. He could dodge bullets. He could recover from fatal wounds. And he also, Khonshu could step in and resurrect him if he's killed in action. So in a lot of ways, I guess as long as you don't piss Khonshu off, he's pretty much immortal, right? The thing about him, though, is with all this power, his brain is fucked. He's got these 3 different personalities, sometimes 4, even Khonshu in a lot of ways. So he may be immune to physical attacks, but his mind is fucked 6 ways from Sundays, dude. World-class telepaths have tried to read or control his mind, and they can't do it. His brain is too fucking chaotic and painful for them to process because of all the trauma he's been in. So I didn't want to spend a ton of time on it. I just wanted, since the show was this week, and I don't think it's fucking feeding into anything, but I think that's cool the way his powers are tied to the phases of the moon. Mm-hmm. So if you're on the outside and you got beef with Moon Knight, you better show up during the right moon phase, or you might get fucked up.
Right.
Matter of fact, you probably will get fucked up unless you show up when it's a new moon. So,
right. I mean, at baseline is Mark Spector,
right.
A mercenary. So you're gonna
get fucked
anyway.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. You better be a badass motherfucker to show up at all.
But what's his mission? What does he do?
Khonshu's mission is fucking vengeance, dude.
So he's just a crime fighter,
pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, crime fighter, but he's got these other personalities that are all assets in different ways, right? Sure. He's got the money from Stephen Grant, and he's got the whole underground fucking network from the cab driver dude. Mm-hmm. You know, so interesting character that I think a lot of people get wrong because they just look at it. Oh, he's Marvel's Batman. He's not Marvel's Batman at fucking all. So, anyways, Adrian, this is the time of the day where I pass the baton to you, Adrian, for your weekly motherfucking hidden gem.
Well, this week's hidden gem was a suggestion.
Okay.
A good one.
Oh, I think. These could go 1 or 2 ways when it's a suggestion.
Right. Now, this is a good one. This is actually a good one. And this is a perfect example of we don't need to race swap. We don't need to gender swap.
Well, I'm gonna
there's enough characters out there to represent everybody perfectly, right? So this week's hidden gem is a Marvel character called Manifold. He's the Manifold is the superhero alter ego of Eden Fessy, an indigenous Aboriginal Australian mutant. Say that 3 times real fast,
can't even say that once.
Well, so let's see how we say that.
There we go. So an indigenous Aboriginal Australian mutant with an unparalleled ability to bend space-time. He serves as a cosmic level asset for teams like the Avengers and Sword. But he acts as a quiet rock music loving linchpin whose power allowed him to step across the universe by treating reality reality as a moldable tapestry. So basically, he can warp anywhere in the universe instantaneously. Now,
shit.
As powerful as that sound, there's a limitation. So anyway, he was discovered as a young man in the Australian outback and taken in by veteran mutant Gateway, who mentored him into fine-tuning his spatial awareness. Now, how do you discover that you can step through time through space? I mean, that's got to be a trip, right?
You just run around the backyard and you fucking go back a few years.
Fucking all of a sudden end up on Mars or something.
Right.
But so he's recruited out of isolation by Daisy Johnson to serve in Nick Fury's Secret Warriors, thrusting him directly into global espionage before he eventually graduated to the frontline roster of the Avengers. Now his powers, he's a regular dude. He's like Magneto, right?
Okay.
So you can shoot him, you can beat him. He doesn't have any super healing. He's not like Captain America. He can't do this all day physically, right? So and believe it or not, he has normal intelligence, right?
Okay. Oh, he's not a fucking genius?
No.
So there's one comic character who's not a genius.
All right. So on an intelligence scale, he's a 3 out of a 7. Possesses standard to above average intellect with an exceptional instinctive grasp on quantum geometry and astral navigation. Now, that's important based on his power, and I'll explain why later. Strength, 2 of 7. He's supposedly a peak human strength for a 175-pound guy, right? Now his speed. You don't measure his speed the way his speed is a 7 out of 7, right?
Okay.
And you don't measure it like you measure Quicksilver or the Flash. He's not actually moving. It's maximized due to his instantaneous teleportation. So he can allow him to traverse billions of light years in a single second, right? So again, durability, 2 of 7. Now here's the thing: energy projection is 4 out of 7. He's not like Cyclops. He's not like Wanda, right? He doesn't project energy per se, but he's capable of weaponizing spatial tears or summoning stellar radiation directly from distant stars into a combat zone, right? So he doesn't project anything from himself. He draws things to him, or he'll open a portal and allow stuff to come through. And I'll give you one of those examples later. Fighting skills, basic hand-to-hand combat stuff, and survival. So what's amazing about his powers? He's technically not a teleporter, but a universal shaper who speaks to space-time and simply asks it to fold itself to accommodate his steps. So he doesn't move, space and time moves around him.
Okay.
Kind of a deal, right? He operates with absolute zero delay transit time, creating shimmering portals that leave no residual warp signature or energy lag. Like when he thinks or he speaks it, it happens instantaneously. There is no fucking Strange. He's got to do all this bullshit. Nope, none of that. It's instantaneous.
You ain't got to wind it up, Adrian. No. You ain't got to get ready.
Yep, no hula hooping, none of that bullshit, right? He's capable of performing an isolated selective transport. Listen to this shit. Allowing him to displace specific objects or internal organs out of an enemy without moving their outer body. In other words, you talked about this cat like punched a hole in Magneto's chest and pulled his heart out.
Yep.
He ain't got to do all that. He would just teleport your heart out of your body.
Damn.
Or any other thing. So he can create, not just create portals around himself. He can across the room teleport an object from that place to some other place.
It's almost like a Magneto, but not limited to the electromagnetic spectrum. From how he can draw, Magneto could move this because it's metal.
Mm-hmm.
This motherfucker could move your cup over here, but it's through teleportation.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. He can is think about it as warping, not moving.
Okay.
So it's not traversing across space. He actually makes it disappear over here and reappear over here. It's quicker. Right. That's why he can move things billions of light years. Mm-hmm. What's a light year? Light year is the time it takes light that moves 186,000 miles per second to move in a year. So that distance.
Yeah.
And he can do billions of light years instantaneously.
Damn.
Operates with absolute zero delay transit time. Already said that. Maintains a permanent passive spatial anchor in his mind. So this is where the quantum geometry and astral navigation comes into play. So as he walks around, like Magneto walks around with his magnetic condom on, right? Yep. He walks around with this passive spatial anchor in his mind, giving him a flawless awareness of his exact coordinate relative to every star in the sky. So he knows wherever he appears, his mind tells him where he is in relation to every other star in the universe.
Shit.
Right? So his greatest power feats, he teleported a massive fleet of Avengers starships across intergalactic light years instantly to turn a tide during a build a war. And I think build a war, we're going to hear maybe something of that, kind of like a Secret Wars, but a different kind of war.
Yeah.
I think we're going to hear something about the build a war later on. He successfully tore a localized piece of a sun out of deep space and dropped it directly into an attacking army to vaporize their front line. Think about that. He took a piece of a sun and dropped it down into a war zone.
Shit.
So again, he can not only move himself or bend space-time around himself, he can also collect. Now think about that. You got to be at least far enough away from the sun and not get burnt, right? So I think our sun is 93 million miles away from us. So, but he can take a piece of that sun from 93 million miles away and bring it and open up a portal and drop it anywhere he wants to.
Shit.
That shit is crazy. He outmaneuvered cosmic entities, and cosmic entities, we're talking about celestials, right? By folding the space around the Logos entity, hiding entire strike teams from their ability to sense. And they have high-level multiversal senses that allows them to see, track everything. And he was able to hide this whole team away from them, right? So, of course, he has a limitation with that kind of power, right? What do most people with that level of power, what are their limitations?
They cray-cray, man. They crazy.
Yep. Suffered a complete psychological and physical burnout when his powers fail completely. Now, here's the thing. He is not an omega level mutant because of one trait with his powers. His powers only work in this universe, 616.
Okay.
So he can move anything and anybody and move completely around this universe. But if he goes to another universe, then he's just a regular person.
Damn. So here he's like a god.
Right.
But send him somewhere else, he's useless as tits on a bull.
Right. It's almost like if Superman goes to a universe with a red sun.
Right.
Right. It's literally like that. No love interest. He's like deeply spiritual. So he, kind of priesthood on that.
Yeah.
Hidden and little known facts. He owes a rare cosmic he owes a rare cosmic status where Captain Universe is recognized as his literal spiritual mother, having personally recalibrated his brain chemistry after his powers tore apart during a space war. Serve as a vital component to the Six, which is a specialized group of mutants who combine their powers to harvest rare cosmic material from the literal heart of creation. Some funny facts. Despite being a literal cosmic space shaper who can walk between the stars, he frequently gets lost in normal earthbound places like the Avengers Mountains hallways if he doesn't use his powers. He's an absolute fanatic for old school earth rock music, once refusing to teleport a high stakes stealth team until he could finish listening to a specific guitar solo on his headphones. What kind of bullshit is that, right? So again, he operates just below what we consider the official Omega level mutant status, because his reality folding is bound by a strict geographic negative constraint. He can only talk to and manipulate in his native universe, like I said, right? Now, I'll take that.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. What are the odds you going to another universe?
Right. Right. I mean, being able to move light years instantaneously, I'll take that. So while an Omega teleporter like Lactuca can perceive and map space across any dimension or reality without limits, Manifold becomes an ordinary baseline human the moment he steps into an alternate timeline or dead universe. So interesting character. We don't need a movie about him.
No.
But he can be in movies. And this is a true hidden gem, right? that's interesting, a lot of potential, and a lot of power. Could definitely be useful in all kinds of shit, right? Maybe he'll show up in Secret Wars. Who knows?
At this point, anyone can show up in fucking Secret Wars. Real quick, before we wrap up, will we respond? One thing I forgot to mention about Magneto, because he was so awesome, dude, it was distracting me. Sure. You know, it's like I was under the blanket or something. Is his flying ability. You don't see this enough in the movies. In the movies, he's typically flying, when he's pushing off a metal and shit like that. He can fly. First of all, he can fly at fucking supersonic speeds.
Sure.
But the way his flight works, it's actually a few different ways. He can repel himself off of the Earth.
Or attract himself
to the Earth because of the magnetic fields. He can put himself in a magnetic fucking bubble and move himself that way. He can turn the gravity off near his body to fucking move up that way. So he uses his electromagnetic energy to move himself. He ain't flying, fucking flapping his hands, like a bird or some shit. So I thought that was cool. And then the speed, he also can fucking glide along Earth's invisible magnetic grid, almost like surfing a wave.
Right.
And again, using his own, he could even use his suit. Like his suit's got metal in it. He could fucking move the metal in his suit. So he almost had like fucking 5 different ways he could fly, So he ain't just, hey, stand there and get shot. He can cruise at slow speeds. He can fucking accelerate at hypersonic velocities for long distance. He can fly into space. Right. So a whole nother chunk of his power set. And it also, his reaction time and reflexes are pretty heightened as well because of this. The other thing is, so last week was Moon Knight for our road to Doomsday. This week, Adrian, I have a feeling you're not going to watch this one. It's Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. That is our movie. Now, I do think, and we'll find out after I rewatch it, I'll suffer through it for everyone. But I do think it is going to play into Doomsday in a lot of ways, mainly because Namor and his whole, nation is introduced, and that's going to be a part of this. So, anyways, we respond. This is where the sun gets low, guys. We're gonna read my comment. Read a comment, Mike. Yes, I will. I'm gonna read a few of them. We'll start with our friends on Spotify. We appreciate everybody who comments. AWAB is a saying you'll hear around here, and it stands for another week, another motherfucking banger. The motherfucker's silent. Jake says, AWAB gents, this is my first comment. Damn, I can't even fucking talk today. My first comment and request. Could you do a deep dive on Cletus Cassidy Carnage, please? Jake, I can definitely. So what I'm going to do, I think we got one more week of X-Men, Adrian. I did Magneto. And next, we're finally going to get the Charles Xavier breakdown next week. So everybody who is confused at why he pisses me the fuck off, next week you're going to find out, that bitch-ass motherfucker. And then we are going to do some Spider-Man, but then get into this whole Avengers around the corner. So yes, I can I say all I have to say yes, Carnage, because he's a sick, sadistic fuck. House of Cow Teat says, damn, I got shit on for that Zack Snyder Dark Returns news. Yeah, saw it coming. Yes. I think a standalone would be cool. No, stop. Knock it off, House of Cow Teat. Battinson just isn't cutting it. Oh my God.
Right.
Dude. Oh God. Mike, will you be playing the Wolverine game? Yes, I will be playing the Wolverine game. And AWAB, House of Cow Teat. Culinary Gangster, okay. MCU is known to mask helmet off screen time longer than with mask helmet. I'm sure Doom is without the mask for 2. Bro, they're known for this. Have you ever seen them has the MCU ever put Doom in a movie?
No. Oh, yeah.
No, the MCU.
Oh, the MCU, no.
No. So how the fuck do you know what they're known for? How many characters do we have that is reliant on a mask like Doom? Iron Man comes out of the mask all the time because Iron Man's Tony Stark. It's not a secret.
Right.
And Tony Stark loves his face, right? He's probably pretty vain. Spider-Man takes off the mask a lot. Got it. He's wearing a fucking cloth mask. Doom is wearing the mask to cover his disfigured face that he's ashamed of.
Right.
He's not taking the fucking mask off for 2.5 hours.
Well, and to control his suit.
And to control his suit. He's not doing it. It's not happening. Well, why would they cast him? Why would they cast Josh Brolin and put him in CGI? Right? You don't see his real face. You see Thanos.
Right.
The fuck? Why would they cast Ryan Reynolds and have a melted fucking face? You don't look like Ryan Reynolds. He looks like a fucking tan raisin.
Right.
So no culinary gangster.
Well, who gives a fuck anyway?
Exactly.
Whether they with face on, mask off, whatever.
And I think that's a stupid thing. Like, they're not going to cast Robert Downey Jr. and not show his face. His name holds enough weight.
Right.
You don't need to show his face. You say he's in the fucking movie, people are going to show up.
So they don't need to show his face. No. If this is not an origin movie, why show his face at all?
Correct.
Right.
That's the other thing. If anyone sees his face, it's going to be us, not them.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's going to be the audience. It's not going to be fucking Peter Parker's not going to be strolling around and you look awfully like my old mentor that died a few movies ago.
Right.
Like, we think, and I get it. Sometimes Marvel does some dumb things.
Right.
But we also, this is the problem with society and social media, is everybody thinks they're an expert on things.
Right.
Well, I watched a bunch of movies, Adrian, so I'll probably be a good director and writer. It's bad writing. Bitch, your comments fucking bad writing. I love that. This is a fucking bad. You can't even read what, not this guy, but you can't even read what they say half the time, and you're talking about a show has bad writing?
Right.
You can't write, motherfucker. Shut the fuck up. Use voice to text or something. Fuck. Marcel K says, AWOB, fellas, I finally caught up with the episodes after watching a lot of your old ones. About time, but we appreciate that. And all I can say is it only gets better. Winter is upon us, and Chuck is making his rounds trying to warm us up with his blankie. Yes, this is a little poetic there. But hey, as long as we pose on Aurora, he won't try helping us. Oh, Aurora, yes. I asked this already on last week's other stuff, but in case you didn't see it, can we get a hidden gem on Tech Jacket from the Invincible universe?
Sure.
Tech Jacket. I don't, I can't answer that because I don't know what Tech Jacket is and I don't know what Invincible is. Devin Guido says, AWOB, gentlemen, best part of my week. Love the contrast of the show with Mike's jokey personality. I have a jokey personality.
I don't know.
And Adrian being more on the serious side, it works well. See, he didn't say Adrian was grumpy. Adrian's on the serious side. We have to have a contrast here. If we were both the same, it'd be weird.
Right.
Can we get a who the fuck is Sabretooth? That's a good one. Chili season is coming. Bring on the Only Comics Chuck throw blanket. It's coming, dude. Only Comics blanket's coming really motherfucking soon. All right, let's take a look at YouTube real quick. OG Dirte says, what up, Mike and Adrian? Glad you dug into Hawkeye's background. I thought the TV series was pretty good myself. I can't say the same for Lanterns. Damn. What the fuck, DC? That show leaves you with 84 questions. I'm not a DC fan. But if Earth can only have one lantern in Earth's sector, who the hell is Guy Gardner? That's true. It's time for Image Comics to give us some more movies or TV series. Spawn, Wildcat, Savage Dragon, Invincible.
All of those.
Yeah. X-Men 97 was a 7 out of 10. Hated the ending. I got to say it before I go. It's a crime we're not getting a Blade movie. If it wasn't for Blade, there would be no MCU AWOB. Okay. I understand why people say that. If it wasn't for Blade, there'd be no MCU. I don't agree fully, but I do understand the importance of those movies to kind of get this thing kicked off.
Sure.
I think they still would have made Spider-Man movies and X-Men, and
sure.
Sure. But I do understand. I mean, that was a positive note and probably some inspiration and incentive to get them done a little quicker.
Sure.
Or
to point them in a direction. I mean,
that too. Yeah.
Again, maybe they would have, put out, the heavy hitters.
Yes.
Like the, Spider-Man, the whatever, right? But maybe they wouldn't have gone down this direction and given us all the shit that they had.
That's a great point. Yeah, it definitely opened them up for what you could do because nobody fucking knew who Blade was until these movies.
Right.
A lot of people didn't even know these were comic movies. They thought it was just some vampire shit with Wesley Snipes, right? Mm-hmm. So, and yeah, here's one thing I would agree with. I don't think these early movies would have been as good if Blade wasn't put out and received the way it was. Because to your point, it created somewhat of a formula in a lot of ways, right? Coda says, can you put a who the fuck is Mike and Adrian on the list? Also, thanks for your content. You guys rule. One day, we're still trying to figure out all the powers and stuff like that, Ten Right says, I don't know about that new guy is Charles X. From the casting choices, seems like they're more focused on getting the blanket right over the actor. Another note about how about out of context line of dialogue. Oh yeah, we talked about that, the Red Guardian shit. Now, Kylo as Mr. Sinister seems like it can be great. Can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be good, dude. The Adam Driver plays Kylo Ren as Sinister. When I first heard it, I was like, no, that's crazy. But the more I look at his face and I look at how Sinister's drawn, I'm like, this is actually really good.
Yeah, it makes more sense that, he's Sinister than the other characters.
Oh, yeah, Magneto. They were trying to
I was
say,
like, nah, that's not going to work.
And we've seen him play a bad guy. Now Sinister we did his deep dive last week. He's a motherfucker. Which Adam Driver's a good actor. I think he can tap into that. Yeah. So the Captain Canada, he was on the live this past week, says, "Wild fellas, Spider-Man Brand New Day, killing it. Love to see. I like the X-Men cast at D23. Curious who they will cast as Magnus and Logan. I don't think we're going to get a Logan for a while. And he even says we don't need to see Wolverine just yet, but it'll be cool knowing who would play him. I think Adam Driver will kill it as Sinister. Great deep dive on him. Appreciate that. Felt like Brave New World would have been way better if they introduced Weapon X, aka Wolverine, at the end, since there's adamantium intro. Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate Brave New World, or fuck it's called. X-Men 97 season 2 finale was meh. Definitely agree about the 4 episodes that were great. Then it just went downhill. Season 1 better. Mystique season 3 post credit of Steven. Yeah, we definitely. I caught that. Mystique was disguised as Val Cooper now because they fucking killed her. I think after Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, we need Spider-Man 97 or something. Absolutely. I do like that show, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, but I would have much rather preferred a continuation of the anime. Do what you did. You know, just don't make Spider-Man fiending to get up in Harry's pants or something like that. Just, let's not do that. T-minus less than 1 month away from Marvel's Wolverine. Mike, let's fucking go. Yes.
Let's fucking go.
Can't wait, Adrian. You gonna play some Wolverine game?
No.
Okay. Let's see. A couple more here. We got Nessa. Nessa says, do you think with the new casting of Storm and T'Challa, MCU will incorporate their relationship marriage? I fucking hope so, dude. If we're gonna get this aged up T'Challa, if this is the one we're gonna get, then yes, he should have this relationship with Storm. Let's make it very close. Let's make it T'Challa. Let's do everything we can. I'll accept the fact that it's the son aged up. Oh my God. Let's make it a real T'Challa. And yes, he should have a relationship with Storm.
Absolutely.
Love to see these two fucking, I don't want to see them fuck. Whatever, maybe. But I'd like to see them in these movies as, king and queen of Wakanda. And please, they got the look down for the girl playing Storm.
Yep.
Please write this character properly this time. Don't fuck it up again.
That's it.
Let's see a couple more here. We got Maple Grove. Wild fellas, I enjoyed Lanterns' first episode. Hal confirming the alien was in fact an alien because he didn't say something racist about Obama was great. That was funny too. He's like, wait a minute, you got anything else to say about him?
Right.
He even threw his middle name in there, Hussein. Like, okay, you're a dude from Nebraska. Ain't no way you wouldn't have said some racist ass shit.
Right.
That was cool. Spot M got M4. What the fuck? Hey, my man Spot. Shout out to my man Spot M got. Can we talk about how Jean casting that mental screen wiped out the spell that Strange casted in No Way Home? Would love to see how Xavier found her during that time, which is why she is on her way to the Gray Malkin Lane. It's very possible. You remember in Spider-Man when she casted that fucking, mental screen and froze everybody. And we don't know if this is exactly what happened. But after that, MJ did seem to remember Peter, right? And then Peter meets up with Ned or sees Ned at this cafe and they do their handshake and he recognizes it's Peter. So I don't think that's been confirmed, but it does seem like something Jean would be able to do.
Sure.
Because the spell, I don't know, we don't know exactly what the spell did. We just know it made people forget. But that doesn't mean that those memories aren't still there.
Right.
I don't know that Strange could delete a memory. Probably would do something to cast it away.
Right. It's kind of like a hard drive, right? When you delete a file off of a hard drive, you don't delete the information. You just kind of write over it. That's why you can go and recover it.
Sure.
Right. So in this case, your memory could act the same kind of way. The information is there. It's just being overridden by something else. And you can't access it unless you have a spell or some shit.
There you go. So yeah, I think that I wouldn't be surprised if that played into it somewhat.
Sure.
I don't think she's just going to magically remember. Oh my God. 29 Capri says, AWAB guys. Well, AWAB, Capri, and everybody else. And then we got Mad Wolf says, you guys' channel is the best thing I've watched in a while, and YouTube, keep up the good work. Well, we appreciate that. There's a lot of other comments. Appreciate all the comments. We can't read them all because we'd be here till 5 o'clock tonight, and everybody be wondering where we're at, Adrian.
Right.
So we do appreciate all the new viewers, the old viewers, the interns. If you are interested in the internship, it's going to cost you some money, a lot of money. You got to send us each $4,000. I'm just kidding. $4.99 a month. You can sign up. There's a link in the description. It's on YouTube. It's on Spotify. And that is where we get into other stuff this week. I know you got some stuff about some data centers. You got some conspiracies about these data centers are pissing you off, dude.
Well, it's not conspiracy about the data center. It's thoughts around
some thoughts.
Data centers. Yeah,
they're pissing you off kind of a little bit, you know.
A little bit.
And then I got some stuff. We're talking about some population control. I do think that in a lot of ways, I'm not going to say Thanos was right, but I think that Thanos's ideology, I think there's a lot of world leaders that have similar ideologies. You know, and I think that we've already seen our version of snaps. They just take longer.
Sure.
They take generations. It's not instant, you know. So we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to bring you up to speed on who Thanos really is, because one of the biggest misconceptions about Thanos is he ain't that strong. He's only strong with the gems, the stones, whatever. Oh, he would have never whooped Hulk's ass like that. I'm going to tell you, he fucking would have. And I'm going to tell you why on other stuff. So check that out. If you don't want to, then fucking don't, because we're going to be here by ourselves anyways on other stuff. You know, you don't have to. But we do appreciate everybody, all the comments, the likes. If you're not following us yet, please follow, subscribe. Why are you here if you're not subscribing, you know? And we will be back here, Adrian, next motherfucking week, right here on Only Comics.